Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Sorry, I just had to give my dogs treats because they were already whining and they don't start whining until the show's about to start. Craziness here.
They just know, like they have ESP as to when you're
like,
going to start.
oh, you have to concentrate on something. We're gonna whine. And I'm the only one home right now, so that's how that goes. But welcome.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome back to another
Tuesday. It
Tuesday.
feels like it's been forever, but we had a show last week, so I don't know
We
why
literally did this
today
last
feels
week.
like, right? Like we were just here.
Yeah.
But it's never too soon for a show.
That's true.
How is everybody? I know Chris is like madness at work, which is
I know.
awful.
I feel awful.
Yeah. Tired. Yeah.
Tired.
I know you're tired. You were up all night, basically.
Yeah.
Damn insomnia. Yeah, I ended up not working today. Oversleeping on top of, issues with my car and whatnot. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
My new my order of contacts finally came in yesterday after a week.
Yeah.
Normally they're like a quick turnaround. And yeah, it was not. It was a very long. You can't have my medicine, dog. Okay. But how are you, Dee? What's up with you?
Good. I am busy. I still have not had basically since freaking March, I have not had a weekend where I didn't have anything planned and I could just be a bump on a log, which is like one of my favorite activities of all time. So
Right,
I am just
absolutely.
looking forward to this weekend. I think I have nothing planned. I need to double check because
Exactly.
there's always something that I forgot about. But I'm looking forward to like sleeping in, doing
Yeah,
nothing, laying on my couch doing nothing,
yeah.
maybe sitting outside doing nothing. Just a lot of doing nothing in my future, you know?
But Clayton, pause for 1 second. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna address Cling. What if it is? Because welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? And would you like some orange soda with that order?
I would like some orange soda, actually.
Right.
Now that you mention
Love
it, Danger,
her.
I very much would appreciate some.
I wish I had some to
I have
distribute.
none,
We
right?
need to like fast forward to the future where we can be like, oh, drone, send D some orange soda.
Oh God, that'd be so nice.
Right.
Or like in the
Okay.
Jetsons where they had the little like microwave type situation, you press a couple of buttons and your food was just there. It just like
Right.
materialized. That's what I
I
want.
also would love a robot like Rosie because Rosie was the best character in the Jetsons. Fight me if you
She
disagree.
was.
But um yeah,
I did love
it
Rosie.
just Rosie was the best.
Yeah.
Um right. I saw a post on Facebook. I'm part of this like 90s nostalgia group kind of thing. And
Hmm.
it was the debate started about the all that cast, the original cast versus the
Yeah.
cast that like you and I probably remember the most with like Keenan and Kel on it and stuff. There was like a group
Hmm.
before that that I remember vaguely, There are ghosts in
Sorry.
your apartment?
No, that storm I was warning you about
Oh
before we
yeah,
started to stream has now officially started, and holy shit,
gotcha.
it's stormy.
Vicious, huh?
Oh yeah,
Fun.
the wind is real bad right now. I thought a tree was coming through my window.
Oh,
It
jeez.
wasn't. It's still attached. We're fine.
Good. That is good.
Yeah,
Did I?
it
I
was
think I
very good.
forgot to. Did I forget to show everybody my new thing last week?
Oh, that's
Was
so
my
cute.
present from Jamaica when my sister and her
Hmm.
husband went, and I'm like, yay! Now on game night I can annoy everybody. But I guess my mic in Discord
Perfect.
doesn't pick it up very well. Um,
You can hear it like a little bit. It sounds like
a
very
little
light
bit.
finger tapping, like
There you go.
ASMR kind of
That's
finger tapping. Yeah.
now. If only I knew how to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just telling these guys we were under a tornado warning last night for like all night long. I know it rained and I heard some, but I didn't hear much.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we've had a couple of good storms already this year. I love thunderstorms though.
I do
Kind of a
too.
horror
I
movie.
find them wonderful. So I'm not ever like upset by having them unless they like ruin plans. Like if I want to be
Right.
somewhere and we get one,
Exactly.
then I'm kind of mad. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was supposed to get margaritas with one of my friends, and then like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, fucking massive thunderstorm, like
Yeah.
with flash flooding warnings and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, no. Unfortunately, that means dead ain't happening.
The
So
last week when you sent the wine festival thing pictures on Snapchat, and I
yeah,
was like the beer fest thing. So when we went to beer fest, it was on my birthday many years ago. I mean, my ex-husband and I were still together.
okay.
But
So many
it
years ago.
many, many years ago. But it was awesome because it was like
Yeah.
actually on my birthday, and I definitely used that. They had that thing where you have to like get the nail all the way in on one swing with a hammer, and then you
Yeah.
want a cowbell on a necklace thing. I have to dig it out of storage because it's the perfect time to actually have it on my wall. But
Right.
so I tried it, definitely did not get it in one swing. And I told the guy, I was like, but it's my birthday today and I really want the pink one. And he looks at me and he looks at the cowbell and he goes, don't you tell anybody that I just gave this to you. I was like,
I
thank you.
love
I
that.
think I paid him like for 2 or 3 tries and I still couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So but here's why I want it so bad. But what reminded me of that is the storms. It would rain like off and on all day and it would just like downpour for like 10, 15 minutes. And so
Mhm.
many people would leave. So it'd like clear out all of the people. every
Yeah,
hour or two, which was awesome because then we
that's
could like
nice.
there weren't long lines and stuff because we were
Yeah.
there all day. But somewhere I have my little glass they gave us, similar to what you were talking about,
Hmm.
a little sample glass, but ours were on lanyards, or you could buy the
Yeah.
VIP package came with the lanyard. So you didn't drop it because if you dropped your glass and it broke, everybody around you would go, "Oh," and it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
People that it happened to, but mine was on a necklace, so I didn't drop mine. I definitely dropped it. Would have dropped it if it wasn't on the necklace, but
Right.
that's
I
just
might be
life.
going to another one for my birthday this year because it's
Yes.
like over 2 days and it falls on my birthday, and it's actually a wine and garlic festival, which I'm like,
Ooh.
I like garlic.
I I would love to go to another one. It was
Yeah,
fun.
they're so much fun.
Remy, I'm not gonna play ball with you. Seriously. You were napping up until like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Did you see him, Kling? Did he
Oh,
jump enough for
yeah.
you? I know Kling lives
I saw
for
his little head.
my dog, which is
Oh, but I
100%.
don't know if he saw it because of the
Yeah,
overlay.
right.
But I was able
That's all
to. Yeah.
right. So what did you do this weekend? Anything like was it anything exciting?
So I went out with my mom and her friend. We did a lot of shopping on Saturday. So that
Ooh,
was exciting but also exhausting because we did a whole lot. But it was really fun, and I got some birthday gifts from my best friend whose birthday was yesterday. She has the best birthday. It's 7-Eleven. Like, first of all, you can
that's
never forget it,
right.
right? Like, it's so
Gosh.
simple. Plus, she gets free Slurpees for her birthday. What more
That's
could you
right.
ask for? Yeah.
Right. Remington,
Um,
stop. Oh, fine, get the ball. That's what you're barking. Here, Remy, give, drop it. Drop it.
Aw.
So he is way too hyped up right now.
Yeah.
He's
He
over
took
by
like
the
a
door.
power nap and was like
Yeah,
super excited.
right. Uh, I'll get him to show himself for you later, Clean. You gotta stick around for that
Yeah,
extra
exactly.
good shit.
Don't want to give it all away. Come on now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As
But yeah,
much
so it
as
was
dad,
good.
like you should.
Nothing as exciting as the weekend before, but it was still
Yeah.
like busy. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I have that this month where like every weekend we have something going on. Um,
Yeah.
Last Saturday, well, Matt was supposed to play in his baseball tournament Friday night, was supposed to be their
Hmm.
first game. The other team ended up having to forfeit. So, which was
Oh,
good because it was like they only had one game Friday night, regardless of win or lose. So it's
right.
like, I don't want to drive to Edina, which is like an hour from me for one game and then have to turn around and go back
I'm
Saturday.
back.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
gas prices are freaking ridiculous, you know?
Insane.
And he so that got canceled, which was a good thing. Got out there Saturday. They lost. It was single elimination, so they were
No.
done after the first game. But I was really proud of him. He's already 5'5.5", and so pitchers have a
Okay.
hard time finding his hitbox and strike zone and stuff.
Yeah.
So he got walked two of the times he was up to bat and
Okay.
ended up stealing second and third both times, but got
Wow.
stranded on third. So it
Oh,
was like such a bummer because they lost like
he worked real
14 or
hard.
15-1. Yeah, he did. He did.
Oh.
He worked real hard. But so we did that Saturday. Friday, I think I
Hmm.
just hung out here. It was very weird to like not officially have my son on the weekend because I get him every
Hmm.
weekend in this school year. And then it becomes this
Right.
week on, week off where I actually have weekends in the summer, which is phenomenal, but very strange feeling.
Range. Yeah.
Um,
A new baby
that's
goldfish. Oh,
adorable. Um, we also have a new baby.
yes. I saw in the
This
Discord.
is
So little.
Clarabelle. She was sleeping, so she's going to be mad at me for a minute, but she is
Yeah.
3 months old today. Remington
Her
is
head is so
terrified of her.
tiny.
She is
Really?
just, and look at her little, she's got a little heart on her nose.
I
And my
know.
favorite part, but look at the little tobies.
Oh, she's like,
And
stop
then
it.
her back
I
paws
want
are
none
like
of this.
both. Remy, well, she didn't hiss at him, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
She
He literally just got
definitely
all up in
already.
there.
He did, but she was like, fine, whatever. I have not had a
Kling knows where
cat
his
since
priorities are.
100%. And normally I'm right there with you, but she is pretty freaking cute.
Yeah.
She's technically my grandma's cat, but I'm kind of in love with her. Yeah, I haven't had a cat since I was a kid, so I'm like a kid all over again. But she is
Allergic
just
to
she's
cats,
very.
so
I am too, which
never
is
had
why
one.
like my one eye looks darker than my other one. I don't know if you guys can tell that, but my eyeball itself swells up when I get dander in my
Mhm.
eyes. So I have to be really careful. But
Yeah.
Benadryl has just become a regular part of my medication routine until I get used. Dog, cool, whatever. Give me more cats, right? But she is. I mean, she's Olive. Like she's just under 3 pounds right now. I mean, we'll find out for sure. She goes to the vet on Friday.
Yeah.
But she is brave and inquisitive. Like we had her locked in the other
Oh,
room for Sunday after we brought her home.
big
Um,
yawn.
right, and she eventually, my grandma left the room to go to the bathroom or something and forgot to shut the door all the way. And she came out all on her own.
Mhm.
She hissed and swatted at Remy one time, and now he's just like, I'm afraid of you, but I'm interested in you kind
Yeah.
of thing. And she still will hiss at him occasionally, but she hasn't swatted at him since then.
That's good.
Uh, but she's just the sweetest,
Oh.
kind of enamored with her. We went initially, my grandma wanted this orange and white um, cat. And
Mhm.
we walked in and she was getting adopted. Like, lady had already signed the
Oh.
paperwork, kind of thing. What's the real question, Kling?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Pets? I don't think Dee has any.
I have no pets, very sadly. I have none. But I get to visit with my brother's dog, Seiko,
Who is
which is
super
nice.
fucking cute.
He's so
Super.
cute. He's so stupid. Oh my goodness.
You're gonna have
I
to like
love
take
dumb
video
dogs.
that we can show,
I
right?
really will. Oh, I wish I still had it. I had a video of him getting scared. So my brother brings him into work. Because he's like basically the only one at his office.
Yeah.
And he was getting scared by a construction hat, like a hard hat. My brother had put
Love
it on
it.
the floor, and Seiko went to go like nudge it, and it made a noise because it's plastic
Right.
scraping against
Yeah.
concrete. And the way
Right.
he jumped so high that he like freaked out and like knocked everything off of the counter. It was so cute. It was so funny. Oh, he's such
That
a
is
dummy.
adorable.
He is
I
so
love it.
stupid.
I love it. Um,
Uh, do I have
so
any really
yeah.
cute pictures? Let me see.
Well,
I
while
do
you look,
have
I'll finish
ones.
the. Okay. That's right. I
Um,
know there's a couple in the just muted myself. I didn't want to do that. In the fur babies part of our Discord channel,
I
there
don't
are a
know
couple
if
of pictures. That's not what I
so
meant to
there's
type because
one. Him
oh
taking a
my
cute little
god,
nap. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's so cute.
it's so cute. And I obviously I'm partial to labs in particular.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's cute.
Abby. Yes, I like him.
Since both of mine are
I
part lab.
I do have it, but I don't know. Let's see. So this was like after he got more comfortable with it. Um, and so he just is like chasing it around, just constantly
I
chasing
love
it.
it so much.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Isn't that so funny?
That is
I love it.
that's so funny. But yeah,
And there's
so
him with his favorite goose.
oh,
He's just so cute.
he is cute.
Poor baby's having a hard time with allergies right now. And so he's
Yeah,
all like dry and flaky and stuff. It's so sad to
and
me.
Remy is allergic to a few different things. Like his eye
Yeah.
will swell up. He's allergic to deer fly bites, so if he gets bit,
Oh,
it swells up really bad and stuff. No, you cannot eat kitchen. Well, uh, but yeah, so grandma had fallen in love with the pictures of this other kitten, and
Mhm.
we walk in and she's getting adopted. So she was heartbroken at first. And we had
Yeah.
seen Clara's pictures uh last night or the night before on the website and stuff, and I fell in love with her little face. But my grandma was like, "Well, I really like Gigi better." I'm like, "Okay, fine." I go, "But we're changing her name." And sorry, it's go back to your box. I can take it. I put it in a little box. Uh, I put a tablecloth and then wrapped a pillowcase around it, so she's got a little bed
Oh,
right on my desk.
that's
Um,
adorable.
but so we went back and looked, and Clara was just sound asleep, and it took like 10 minutes in the room with her. And my grandma looked and she goes, "Yeah, she's coming home."
Oh,
So, and then
I
we got
love
to
that.
go to like Chuck and Don's, and PetSmart brought her with. And she
Mhm.
just was like cuddled up on my chest the whole time, and it was just she's
So
very
cute.
mellow. Um, but yeah, it's fun. It's like exciting to have that little kitten energy again. Like it's like having a puppy, like it just
Yeah.
brings the energy level up so much. And I know she'll be very independent, coming up. But right
Right.
now, we're definitely keeping an eye on her, making sure she eats and all of that jazz. But and Rory like couldn't care less that there's a cat in the house. She like literally looked at me like, seriously, another animal? What are
Yeah.
you doing? And then yeah, she's just very indifferent to her now. But Remy's very
Yeah.
interested. I put a couple toys in her little box, and she can't decide if she wants to play with it or not.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot of energy, but it's so much fun too. I mean, I'm glad I wasn't working at the time. Like I lost my job shortly around when we got Remy. Can't
Mhm.
remember if it was before or after. It might have been like within a week. No, it was 2 months. We had him for 2 months before I lost my job. Um, she's walking on my keyboard. Uh, but I was really glad
I
that then
love
that
that.
summer I was home with him because I knew I was moving in the fall anyway. So I was like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
find a job when I don't know what city I'm moving to,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
we, I think, inadvertently introduced her to her mom at Chuck and Don's, the
Oh,
cat
yeah.
that they have in the cage there. Which, if you don't know what Chuck and Don's is, it's a pet store. It's just a smaller, expensive kind of pet store. But so they always have a cat in a cage, like that's up for adoption. And we walked in, and the cat was sound asleep. So I walked over with Clara, and we're it's like 5, 6 inches away from the cage. And she like
Mhm.
woke up at first and was like, "Oh, human, fine," and then closed her eyes. And then it was almost like once the scent hit her nose, she like was wide awake. She came down off of her bed, like got
Mhm.
nose to the cage with her. Clara's like rubber necking, like trying to get closer to her. And then the one lady behind the counter was saying that, yeah, like this dog, Lexi, had just been brought in and had 6 kittens that were all up the Humane Society we had gone to. And
Wow.
this group was the only group of kittens. Um, but then I felt so bad, like leaving the store because I think you already had your babies taken away once, and now I'm
I know.
like, I'm sorry, I didn't know she was your baby. And there's
Yeah.
that chance that she just was interested in her
Right.
because she's a kitten.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
Oh, so cute.
right, her little feet. I love them.
Yeah. They are so tiny.
Right, she is. She's
Oh, I
just
love it.
she's like smaller than Remy's head,
Mhm.
which is kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so that's my little surprise and my little
Yeah.
extra some
I
for
like
today,
it.
right? They'll be around.
Um, I also want to be sure to mention, don't forget to send us some ideas for point redemptions. We are still in need of those to finish setting all that up. And also, if there's anything cute or funny that you want to clip, like all the adorable moments with our furry friends here on stream, please be sure to clip that. We would love to have that kind of stuff. So if you see anything, go ahead and do it. If you don't know how to do it,
Dog pissing me off,
Google is free.
right?
You'll be fine. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a little like director's board thing. I don't know what it's called. Can you not? That would be great. Uh,
Ooh.
okay, go to your box.
All right, so then I think maybe it's time we get started with Am I the Asshole?
Yes, let's do that.
All right.
Sorry.
I will go ahead and kick it off.
Yes, please.
All right, so this one is called Am I the Asshole for telling my boyfriend's friends I make twice what he does when they called me a gold digger and he didn't defend me? So very lengthy title. Oh yeah,
Right.
Chris, thank you for bringing that up. Definitely a big shout out to the U.S. women's lacrosse team. They played Canada this past Thursday night, I think it was, for the gold medal for the Women's World Championships in lacrosse. They kicked ass. They brought home gold, which was amazing. Not only that, they did it on American soil, which is even better. It was a great game, but it was an even better win. Congratulations to all the teams. Canada played super hard as well. It was a great week of lacrosse too, so I'm sure they are still airing those on ESPN as reruns. If you get a chance to see it, go ahead and watch it. It was a great representation of the sport. Honestly, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I have only
Thank you
ever
for
been
reminding
to
me, Chris.
one lacrosse game, but it was a lot of fun. It was when the Swarm were here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast, and I was like, once I kind of watched enough, I go, like, oh, this is enough like hockey rules that I can understand the rules, you know?
There are a lot of like similarities. It's basically like it is a lot like hockey.
The
It's
penalties,
hockey, but on like grass.
but with different sticks and a ball
Yeah.
instead of a puck. But yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, but yeah, once I kind of figured out, a lot of the ruling and penalty stuff was similar. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
I can understand this.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. All right. So we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. I saw the chat and I was like, oh shit, I wanted to mention that and I forgot. Anyway.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So I'm in a relationship with a guy who also works in.
Sorry, it's like basketball and hockey and soccer combined, kind of ruling wise, or is it not?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely
you coach
you
it.
can see
You should talk
there's
about
a lot of sports. There is the aggressiveness, like in hockey, especially in boys lacrosse. There's the aggressiveness.
Don't eat her tail.
The fact that it's all like played through the air makes it more like basketball than anything else.
Right.
There is an element of soccer, kind of.
No, not quite.
You know what? I would watch that though. NASCAR,
that's
golf,
like,
and lacrosse. I got
basketball.
questions. I want to see it.
Right.
I'm into it.
Remy.
That's funny. All right, so I'm in a relationship with a guy who also works in tech. He makes 68,000 a year, and I make 130. I'm a mechanical engineer at a robotics startup, and he works a more stable job doing programming at a large company. He brought me to meet his friends at a party, and they asked me about myself. His friends work mostly in tech too, and talked about themselves in terms of their jobs. I told them I'm a hiker, I do archery, I love road trips and camping and riding dirt bikes, etc. Basically talking about my hobbies because work is just a way to get paid to do the shit I love. It's not how I define myself and it doesn't come to mind when someone wants me to tell them about myself. One of his friends asked about work and I said, oh gosh, I don't want to talk about work at a party. I spent my whole day sweating my ass off in 95-degree heat trying to replace this busted ass motor just to find out that the replacement part was also fucked. And I wasn't lying or trying to downplay that I have a good job. That's just really how I spent my day, and I wasn't in the mood to talk shop at a party. Some other conversation came up casually that probably also made me seem poorer, like me saying that the car dealership repairs were a ripoff and telling my boyfriend that my childhood neighbor trailer caught on fire and I was going to visit and help her out. I wasn't doing it on purpose. I literally was just talking about my life, and I guess I gave the impression that I was on the poorer side. It got later in the night, and everyone was getting drunker, and some of his friends, not very close ones, were making jokes about me growing up in a trailer and being a gold digger and being ready to jump to a richer guy. It was just really misogynistic shit, honestly, and since they don't even know me, and seem to just assume that all girls are gold diggers. He didn't say anything. He literally said it was because he had smoked weed and gets quiet and has trouble carrying on a quick conversation when he's high. But regardless, I was hurt that he didn't say anything. I got irritated with his friends and asked, now why the hell would you say that when I make twice what he does? His friends went quiet for a second, and I continued saying, there ain't no gold to dig here, not with him or anyone at this party. So do y'all think I'm cheap or do y'all think I'm stupid? My boyfriend wanted to leave the party shortly after, and he was pretty upset with me for telling everyone I make twice what he does. I said I would have held my tongue if he'd had checked his friends himself, but he didn't say anything, so I wasn't about to let them talk to me like that. He said it was humiliating, and now everyone thinks I'm a bitch. And I flippantly said, at least they know I'm a rich bitch, which I think is hilarious.
That's
He was
super funny.
angry that I embarrassed him when I spoke up. I was angry I had to say anything at all because his friends were talking shit, so it should be on him to check them. Things are still tense. Am I the asshole for explaining why I'm not a gold digger?
I don't think so. Like Kling said, the fact that they're making fun of somebody for growing up in a trailer park. Now, I don't know if I've said
Mm-hmm.
it on stream before, but from like 3rd to 8th grade or 9th grade, I lived in a trailer park, and I got made fun of a ton when I lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Less when we bought the house and finally moved out, but I heard it all, trailer trash, all of that shit. But
Yeah.
that was like middle school bullshit. I don't think I've been made fun of for it since I was in middle school. Maybe my
Yeah.
first
Maybe
year of
high
high school,
school. Right.
but not a drop of that since then. The fact that fucking full on adults, at least it sounds like one, they're
Mm-hmm.
all
Oh yeah.
grown up, it doesn't sound like they're high
Right.
schoolers or anything, are making fun of them for growing up in a trailer park. No, like pointed out. And I love the line, like, I'm a bitch, but at least I'm a rich
Listen,
bitch.
I'm a rich
Fucking
bitch.
brilliant. What a
Yeah.
great comeback.
Right.
Um,
I love it.
okay, Dave. Me get your blankie.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with growing up in a trailer park. And
No.
I mean, to each their own too. I know people
Yeah,
who had tons of money and lived in like a single family ranch home just because
right.
that's what they preferred. You
Right.
jump to a lot of conclusions, and it's also like, I mean, she didn't go into like what she did, but she was like, I spent, all this time doing this. I don't want to talk about it. Like, I mean, she just assumed that that means that she's doing something that's then less than. I also
Right.
hate that idea that, because like I know a fuck ton of mechanics just in general. So if she were not a mechanical engineer and just like a mechanic at the local fucking Pohanka, then that would be okay too. They still make really good money. Like,
Absolutely.
and even if they didn't, clearly she's fine. And
Right.
clearly he's fine. Like,
Right.
why does
Yeah.
it
They're both
matter?
happy. Why make fun of her? Unless you're jealous for
Yeah.
some reason. Like those are the
Mm-hmm.
real reasons that I think people put behind teasing other people. Number one, I think is
Mm-hmm.
jealousy in some
Right.
form. Um, Remington's enough. She's not in there, dumbass. Um, yeah, she's right there. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't
I
understand
don't
people
either.
making fun of other people unless it's
I
in
don't
good
either.
fun. Like, I mean, we all make fun of each other all the time,
Right.
but it's in good fun and we know, but we would never bring that up.
No.
And it's like, I mean, you don't know what the circumstances were that led to
Mm-mm.
growing up in one. Like for me, it
Right.
was my mom had me at 15, and
Right.
at what 23, she and my dad bought the trailer. And then when I was so my freshman year, so when she was 30, they bought the house. That's pretty damn good. Like I'm 36 and
Yeah.
I don't own property or rent on my own right now. But the rental prices
Yeah.
here are ridiculous right now. You don't think it's
I do
jealousy?
think that
Yeah, it very well
it
could be
could be
that,
just
like,
to make yourself
yeah,
feel big. Yeah.
yeah, making yourself feel better, which is
Mhm.
a whole thing that I don't understand. Like,
Right.
why people think putting other people down makes them feel better.
Mhm.
I don't. It's just something I don't understand. Clara Bell, you're gonna jump off of that thing, aren't you? All right, good luck, Godspeed. Um, because the dogs are over here by me, so she's like, "I'm out, fuckers." Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's no need for it.
Mm-mm.
There's just no need for it. And
Yeah.
get rid of those friends. Obviously, there's multiple reasons why her boyfriend picked her, you know,
Mhm.
and it's not like
Yeah.
she's completely abusing his money either. She's working, she's making her own money. She, is
Right.
making something of her life. So there was no need to make fun of her,
No. And the
no
boyfriend
matter.
needs to reassess some shit because if his immediate reaction was to be embarrassed that she pointed out that she makes double his salary instead of being
Right,
like pissed that his friends, regardless of how close they are, were making fun of her for how she grew up, that's fucked.
right,
Especially because the only reason it got brought up was because she was saying that she was going back to help her childhood neighbor like fix shit after their home caught on fire.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Like it was brought up in surrounding a tragedy, and then you want to like make fun of them for their like upbringing.
right.
That's super fucked.
Yeah,
And the boyfriend needs
right.
to look at his like deep-seated patriarchal bullshit.
Yep,
If he's like
absolutely.
upset that she pointed out that she would be the breadwinner technically. And
Right,
yeah, fuck that guy's friends.
right.
And
But
it's
yeah,
also
and
super
she
disappointing
needs
that
to read.
nobody else in the group felt the need to step up too. You
Right,
know what I mean? Like they
right.
all were of that mindset. That's kind of telling to me.
Yeah, be good.
So
All right.
that's my first
Mine
one.
is, am I the asshole for giving my wedding photographer a bad review? Throwaway account.
Mm.
I got married 2 months ago. It was a moderate affair, open bar, nice dress, no kids at a slightly more upscale place than I would have liked, but I guess you only live once. We hired a photographer through a company, a mid-sized place that assigned you an employee. We met with her a few times to go over expectations, venues, etc. No red flags, nothing weird. Day of the wedding, she shows up in a sheer white blouse with lace, completely see-through with no bra. Oof. I noticed, my husband noticed, everyone noticed. And most of my guests just spent the evening trying to look away. Not what you would want with a photographer. Um,
No.
all through the reception, I could overhear people talking about it or joking about it. My husband and I had gotten a good laugh about it after everything was done. Just sort of a, what the fuck was that? Did that really happen? I guess every wedding needs a weird story. At least mine didn't involve a guest. Very true. A couple of
Right.
weeks ago, we got the photo package. It was good and in line with what we paid for. Shh. 2 days later, I get one of those automatic stop emails asking for a survey asking how they did. Overall, I rated them well and even rated the photographer well, except for the professional category. I gave a 3 out
Mhm.
of 5, and in the box, I filled in that I felt her clothing have been more professional. A
Yeah.
manager called me for clarity, which I think is worded fine.
Yeah.
The manager called for clarity, and I explained the outfit and said it wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't really situationally appropriate. Manager
No.
didn't say much, but sounded serious and thanked me for informing them. End of story, right? Well, no. On the weekend, photographer girl shows up drunk on my lawn, wearing 3 bras, and starts screaming at my house. Long story short, she was let go from her job and felt I was the asshole to blame. Eventually, we had to call the police to have her
Oh
removed.
my god.
Right? Spicy.
Yeah.
Uh, people I
The
know
dogs
are
agree.
torn. Right. Some think it was funny and I should have let it go. Others think it was deserves to be called out. Am I the asshole? And I'm gonna go let the dogs outside. You start talking to them. I can still hear.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I think Kling, you said pretty much exactly what I would say too. I am all for wearing whatever the fuck you want to wear. However, in business settings, there are appropriate ways to dress and there are inappropriate ways to dress. If you are a professional photographer at a wedding, first of all, you definitely shouldn't have shown up wearing white because that's just a taboo anyway. It's not something that I would have complained about, but it's just like, meh, you should know better. But secondly, to wear something that's see-through and sheer, and then to not wear like accoutrements that cover parts that other people will have an issue with is a problem because it's not your event. Like if it were her wedding and she wore what she wanted to wear to her wedding, that would be okay. And I would
Absolutely.
even argue if she were a guest that her attire would be more acceptable, but she's being
Right.
paid to be there. And so without knowing anything about that family, without knowing anything about like anything to do with this occasion other than where it's located and the names of the people that she's shooting, like you don't know if what you're doing is appropriate, and so you could be causing like trouble. Now, do I think it's
Yeah.
right that she got fired? Not necessarily, but clearly we don't know the rest of the information. If she got fired for wearing like a sheer top that was, just explained as being like it was kind of unprofessional, but the pictures turned out great, then maybe there was something else going on and that's why they fired her. But either
Right.
way, she has like that's super creepy to show up on someone's lawn and drunk
Yeah.
and start like all kinds of shit needing to get removed. Like that's in the too much category. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it wasn't like she gave a poor rating all around. She just said a
Right.
3 out of 5. A 3 out of 5 is like technically
Not
what
even
meets
that bad.
expectations for most like job
Yeah.
interview or job review kind of things.
Right.
I know that that wasn't the categorical
Yeah.
words used, but what are you?
Yeah.
You can't eat that. Um, Here,
Yeah. I
play
think
with it.
like I think I mean, that was their choice to fire her and
Yeah,
they can do what they want. Um,
right,
I don't think that the person was asking for them to if they were asking for her to get fired, I'd be a little bit more like, meh, that's not your place.
right,
Like, yeah, be
yeah,
upset about it,
right,
but like
yeah,
seek recourse that is reasonable. But like,
right,
she wasn't asking for that. She was like,
yeah.
maybe she shouldn't wear see through shit with no fucking bra or shit
With no
underneath.
bra.
Like, that's not
I mean, I
reasonable attire.
personally wouldn't find it overly professional for any photographer to a wedding to wear anything see through, where the majority of it is see through, at least.
Right.
But that's me,
I
I
can
don't know.
see like those like flowy maxi skirts where the bottom
Yeah,
half, like from the kneecaps down, are see through,
right.
like that kind
Yeah,
of stuff. Or if you're wearing, like, I have this really cute top that's lace and sheer, but I wear like a cami underneath of it
right,
so
right.
that
Yeah,
like you're not
you
seeing
know,
anything, but there is still that sheer element because it's light and
right,
breezy. If that's the case, that's
right,
totally fine
right.
because I'm not
But
showing
yeah, like I
anything that
wouldn't
would
wear
be,
just a bra with a shirt like that. Like I would wear a
oh, hell
cami
no.
under it.
Exactly.
Um, unless it was like for a date where that is the clear expectation where I want you to want me kind of thing.
Oh,
That's
there are
it.
definitely situations where I will wear something like that, but not on anything
Right.
that's professional.
No, not not ever. Not ever.
Not unless you're like a supermodel and your professional visit is like
Right,
a booking, you know what I mean? Where you go and you show up and you say, "Look how sexy I am. I'll make everybody want your clothes." Then that's appropriate
right,
attire. But to show up to somebody else's event, no, no.
right.
Nay,
Can you
nay.
stop changing my screens, please? Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty inappropriate, and I would have probably
Yeah.
rated it about the same. Like I wouldn't have said, I want my money back, I want her fired, none of that. Like you don't know,
Yeah.
maybe she had a different outfit and that's all it got spilled on, that was all she had in her car. Understandable.
Right.
That's true, Dave. They say dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Fair,
Um,
fair.
which is very fair. She loves my keyboard. I just love the little head that pops up every so often.
Yeah. She's like, "I'm ready for my close up."
Right. I am the show. But yeah,
Yeah.
the fact that people are like bogging down on her for any of it. And she was rated
Mm-hmm.
not the asshole.
Yeah, as she should be.
But yeah, it's just very much like, why? Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's totally they're within their rights to her. Like I said, if it were me, I don't know if I would. I would have to have more context of the situation to like say whether or not I would fire someone over that. Because clearly, like they were, you know, upset enough to make a comment about it, but not so upset that it really harmed the business because it was an internal review and not an external review. Like it's not like she went on like Google reviews and was like, "Fuck this bitch, she showed up like looking trashy
Right.
at my wedding." You know what I mean?
Right.
So it didn't harm the business in any way other than people at the event would maybe not think to hire that person or hire that company. And so like that is a valid concern. I
Right.
think the owner's well within their rights though to also fire her.
Yeah.
I just said I don't know if I would because I don't have to deal with any of that. So yeah, me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All
All
right.
right. You're up.
So my next one is, am I the asshole for making my brother live with my parents? My wife, 27 female, is diabetic, so she obviously keeps sweets in case she needs them. She has a stash in the pantry with a few foods to bring up her blood sugar. My brother, 32 male, is staying with us while he gets a job and works up some money to get another apartment. We have a rather big house, and he's sleeping in the guest bedroom, which is on the other side of our bedroom and office. He's staying here for free, and at the time, he didn't have to pay for anything. No groceries, no water bill, rent free, and my wife washes his laundry, which I've told her not to do because he can do it just fine. Which, yeah, why would you make someone else's wife wash your shit? That's weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
he just has to show how much money he's supposed to be making so we know he's actually doing something. We have 3 set rules. Do not leave your mess everywhere. If you're going to be out late, don't come in loudly, and don't touch my wife's candy stash. We have told him exactly why, and if he wants something in there, he can write it down on the list of groceries that we have, and we go every Friday to get more. But don't touch that as it's specifically for her. While I'm at work, my wife texted me asking to pick up a list of things all from her stash. I was confused because she just got more, but when I got there, everything was gone. All of it. Every candy she had in there just completely vanished. I asked her where they went, and she said she had no idea where they went. Thank God she had someone in her purse. So I asked my brother, and he started laughing, saying that he took them as a prank, which is not funny. Pranks are
No.
supposed to be funny and not health threatening. I
Right.
told him that he cannot do that ever again, and that if that happens, he won't have access to the pantry, and that he was being incredibly immature. I told him what happens if she doesn't keep her blood sugar up. He apologized to her, and we restocked. A week later, all of it gone again. I went straight to him, and he said he ate them. I told him he's now going to be buying his own groceries. He tried to plead and say that he just had a sweet tooth, and that's the only thing he could find. I gave him a final warning and said that if this happens again, he won't be welcome here. I suggested he go to my parents' house, and my wife said she will just have to bring the stash into our room. We were good for about a month until my wife texted me again while I was at work, understandably upset, and again he had taken her whole stash. This time that was it. I told him he had to stay with our parents, and our parents welcomed him. However, now he's told our whole family, and they're all blasting me on social media, even on Reddit, about how much of a horrible brother I am for kicking him out, and I could have just put a lock on my bedroom. I love my brother. I want him to succeed, but I can't keep helping him when he's literally making our home unsafe. I don't see why I have to childproof my house from a 32-year-old man. I gave him 3 strikes. However, these messages are getting to my head. Am I an asshole here? And he said, as a reason for why he might be the asshole, I suppose I'm being an
Mhm.
asshole here by making my brother move back when there was another option to when there was one other option to go by before then, also causing arguments throughout the family.
That was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Overall, I would think not the asshole because they gave them multiple opportunities to
Yeah.
change the behavior and they didn't change.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
I
it's
mean,
kind of as simple as that.
yeah. I mean, there's two sides to every story, but I don't know that it even really matters at this point. You're told to change a behavior, you're given multiple opportunities to do so, and you don't do it.
Well, it's not just that it's a behavior too, because if it was something as simple as like he
Right.
leaves like water cups in every room and it's annoying that they're always picking up after him, if that was the rule he had broken, it'd be like, okay, that's a stupid fucking rule for you to get this upset over.
Yeah.
But what it really was he ate all of the candy that a diabetic person needs to like help get them back up to level. And I have friends who are
Right.
diabetic and like when they're crashing, like it's not a good situation for them to be in. And it can
Right.
be severely life threatening. Like I know a guy I used to work with ended up in the hospital
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
went into diabetic shock. And so
Yeah.
he spent like several days in the hospital, and luckily he's fine now. But like it can cause so many issues, and those issues could be resolved, but at like a high medical cost in terms of like the
Right.
bills associated with having a
Right.
3-day
Yeah.
hospital stay. Like
Right.
that's not for everyone.
Right.
So I don't know why his parents would be like, they said they welcomed the brother with open arms. So I don't know why they would be okay with him going around like blasting what had happened. Because
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like as parents, they should be like, no, you're being a jackass. Like,
Right.
that's not your shit. Don't touch shit that's not yours. And don't do it
Right.
repeatedly. Uh,
Right. Yeah. It clearly doesn't give a shit about.
no, clearly not.
Right. Okay. Some do. Yeah. To the detriment of everyone.
Yep,
Uh,
very true.
so am I the asshole for choosing my friend's ex over her? Kelly, 24 female, is my very close now ex friend. We've been drifting for a while. Liam, 25 male, is my friend. We went to high school together and grew close after he helped me through a rough time in January. Liam is also Kelly's ex boyfriend. They shortened each name to like the first initial, so if I forget the names, that's what. They dated for 1.5 years, hooked up for 6 months after, and then called it officially quits in January when Liam left for the UK for work, and he's there right now.
Okay.
Roe, 26 male, is Kelly's new boyfriend. I've asked to be left out of her relationship with him, detailed here, which is a link to another article.
Oh dear.
I, 24 female, recently had a birthday party. My parents kindly hosted, and I personally invited people, including Kelly. I gave everyone a +1, and most people chose to bring their significant others. I saw her earlier in the week, and she talked about her relationship with Roe. Not great. She thinks he's stupid, but he's rich and treats her well. Oh, now I kind of want to read the other article. And then told me she had invited Roe to my party. I let her talk about him and didn't protest her bringing him because I figured she really needed the friendship and I could reaffirm my boundary after the party. After the party, some of my friends asked if Kelly was all right because she seemed standoffish and unapproachable and gave off a very high school mean girl vibe.
Hmm.
Roe came 3 hours late, stayed for an hour, and was glued to Kelly the whole time. While I was cutting my cake and doing a birthday speech, he was wrapped around her from the back and was kissing her cheek and neck. I, RMR, oh, roll my eyes. Looking up, rolling my eyes, being annoyed, and brushing it aside. Then they spent the rest of the time on the couch, not socializing. It was a dinner/garden party vibe. Socialization was the vibe. But they were
Mm-hmm.
snuggling, kissing, doing a lot of PDA. Even my parents, who were down for the cake cutting in a little after, noticed it and were uncomfortable with it and brought it up with me. I personally didn't see it, but 12 people, including my parents, brought it up. I knew it
Oh,
wasn't something I could just brush off. I
yeah.
asked Liam for advice on what to do and how to bring it up with Kelly, since we often go to each other for advice. I didn't tell him it was about her. I kept her name and any identifying details out of it. He it to Kelly. It must mean like he identified it to Kelly. It was an
Yeah.
honest mistake. He was talking to her about how much he likes our friendship and the trust we have in each other. And as an ex, gave her the bones on the situation he was giving me. Oh, so he told Kelly about it,
Oh,
not
okay.
knowing she was the
That
one
it was her. Yeah.
that it was her. Kelly then asked
Mm,
me who it was about, and I said her, and that we needed to talk about it. We did, and it went poorly. She didn't
mm.
give a shit what other people think, and she and Ro weren't doing any type of that, or weren't doing any of that. She also said that I betrayed her personal boundary by talking to her ex when she explicitly told me not to. Truth. I told her it's not a line she gets to draw for me. And that she doesn't care that he's my friend. He's her ex, and I'm choosing him over her. She then said Liam doesn't actually like me, and whatever connection I think we have, it's entirely one sided, despite him saying the opposite to her. I let her talk and then told her we shouldn't be in each other's lives, and it ended there.
Mm.
So she says she might be the asshole for calling Kelly out for inappropriate PDA at her birthday party, asking my friend slash her ex-boyfriend for advice about the situation with without disclosing that it was about her, even though she told me not to talk to him. Kelly says I'm choosing her ex, my friend, over her.
That's tricky. There's like a lot of layers.
There's a lot of layers.
Yeah,
Um,
because I do. Part of me does believe like if someone tells you like, "Hey, I don't want you," like I've had that happen before where someone broke up with them. Now this person I didn't like, so it was easy for me. But they're like, "I want you to remove him from your Facebook because fuck that guy," and I was like, "Yeah, no, fuck that guy, delete."
right,
And so I think like you should honor that if they're asking. However, that's tricky if there is like if there was a friendship there, regardless, then that's kind of hard for you as a person to dictate other people's relationships. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, you need to give up speaking to this person entirely. You need to pick, which is what she essentially made her do, and then was
right.
upset when she wasn't the one who was picked. But I completely agree that if you don't want PDA at your birthday party and they're being over the top and a bunch of people have come up to you being like, hey, check out these two,
Right.
then like
Yeah, 12 people,
personally,
including her parents, to bring it up. It must have been more than like
yeah,
him sitting on the couch with his arm around her, you know?
right.
Um, so I clicked on the other article and it's pretty short. So I want to go because it might give us a little bit more insight.
Yeah.
So one of my closest 23 female friends, 24 female, has been seeing this guy, Ro, 26 male, for about 3 months. While they haven't had the exclusivity talk, nor are they officially dating, they do FaceTime twice a day. They go on dates weekly, post each other's privately on socials, don't talk to anyone else, and have deleted all of their dating apps. So it sounds like they're pretty exclusive.
Right.
Kelly recently went to New York for her sister's bachelorette party and kissed two men multiple times that night. Now, before she left, Kelly asked Ro how he'd feel if she got super drunk and kissed other guys. He said he'd be sad and that he'd want her to tell him because it's a huge deal breaker for him. Kelly did not tell him. She says that he's not my boyfriend, so I don't owe him anything, and he's already got trust issues. Him, if I took him this, then I'd set him 10 steps back. It has nothing to do with him. It's not his business. She's like, I love this girl deeply, but as a rational person, it's very obvious she's playing a very convoluted game of mental gymnastics to absolve herself of any real responsibility. You don't need to be dating someone to respect their boundaries. Anyway, she's one of my best friends, and I know her enough to know she's a good person, and making a bad choice doesn't make her a bad person, but I don't want to be involved. Ro asks me for my opinion on gifts for her when she's free, etc. They want to double date. I'm going to tell her not to talk to me about him or their relationship. I'm going to tell him I don't know if he asks me for advice about her. I'm worried she'll tell me I'm punishing her for not doing what I want. Not true. I'm not taking away my friendship from her. or that I'm drawing a line that isn't mine to draw, or that I'm being stubborn, I don't think she'll like it. I think I'm being reasonable, not cruel or stubborn. So Reddit, would I be the asshole if I told her I don't want any involvement with their quote relationship?
Okay.
So I mean, I can understand that. That's something that she has an issue with seeing because she feels differently than Kelly does, and her just saying, I don't want to be involved in it. Like, I don't want this to affect our friendship anymore. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, there were a lot of layers there. I don't think she did anything wrong by talking to Liam. She didn't say, "Hey, it's your ex that's
Well,
doing this." She's
yeah, she kept
asking
the name
another
out of
friend for
it.
advice about the situation. Um,
Right.
he then turned around. I don't know why he's still talking to Kelly. I personally
I'd be like, bye,
probably
bitch.
wouldn't be with an ex that
Yeah.
behaved like this, but that's me.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody
Yeah.
in the
Same.
comments just goes, "Not the asshole. Kelly sounds exhausting." She does sound exhausting. Like,
Straight up.
this is not necessarily a friend that I would want to have, you know?
Right. Agreed. Oh, totally agreed. Yeah, I don't think she's the asshole at all. Again,
Right.
like Chris said, you really can't make those demands of people unless like there's real extenuating circumstances, like what I put in the chat where he was using like the like pages of her friends to like see where she was, and like it was a whole big fucking thing. But like that kind of stuff is like, okay, yeah, make that ask, and we were all happy to comply. But if it's like something where there's already an established friendship or they became friends during the course of your relationship, and now you broke up, you can't really ask them to pick a side.
Right.
That's not really fair.
Right.
um okay,
Right.
so I'll
I'm gonna
read
go let
my
the dog
next
back
one.
in. I can still hear
Okay.
you.
All right. Am I the asshole for leaving my dad's anniversary party after stepsister called me a slut? It's on a throwaway account. So me, 27 female, my dad and stepmom. Oh, they wrote this really weird. Um, the poster, the person, OP is 27. They were at their dad and stepmom's 10th wedding anniversary, and they had a huge party. The dress code was fancy dresses and suits, so I wore a blue dress similar to the green one from Atonement, but more flowy and with straps on the back. So, like, that's a pretty, I think it's like an open back mostly situation. If it had straps on it, it's still largely open back. It's still a nice dress, but it is definitely, I don't know if I would say like sexy is the word, but it's pretty. I don't know. Anyway, but more flowing with straps on the back. I arrived, all was going well, and then my stepmom came up to me and said that I shouldn't have worn that dress. I asked her if something was wrong, and she said that it wasn't appropriate. I didn't really know what to say, so instead I just apologized, and I thought that that was the end of it. A little bit later, my stepsister came up to me and said that I looked like a slut and an attention whore. Again, I said I wasn't trying to take the attention away or anything. I just thought it was a pretty dress and I wanted to wear it, but I apologized. Anyway, she kept going, saying how I wasn't being understanding. I didn't want to put up with the constant jobbing, so I left early without letting anyone know. My dad called me later saying people were looking for me and that I had embarrassed them meaning my dad and my stepmom, by leaving early. I told him all the things that my stepmom and sister said to me, but he said that they were just being protective and looking out for me and that I overreacted. Was I the asshole? Um, which personally, I think, I mean, Kling, I don't know if it's necessarily provocative. If any of you have seen Atonement, like it's nothing that I don't think you could wear to a fancy party.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Um,
I don't think it's
yeah, I
that
know the
bad.
dress that she's referring
Do
to
you know what
as
I'm talking
well.
about? It's nothing that would get you kicked out of a country club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's going to
Yeah.
be like the bar for it, you'd be fine. You could wear that to a nice like gala kind of a situation.
Right.
Um, so I think it's weird that the dad said that they were just being protective. And it's like, I don't see how being protective lands you in calling them a slut and an attention whore. Like, that's
Right.
not protective whatsoever. That's just downright fucking mean. Um, Yeah, they're lucky that she didn't say
Yeah.
more. And she did say, like, when the stepmom approached her about it, saying that the dress was inappropriate, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It wasn't intentional to wear an inappropriate dress. I just thought it was pretty and wanted to wear it.
Right.
My bad." But like at that point, what is she supposed to do? She's already
Yeah.
at the event. She can't change. What's the point in saying
What
anything
kind
more
of
about it?
event was it? I missed that. My headphones cut
It
out
was
for
a
that.
10th anniversary party for her dad and stepmom.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a pretty dress, like
Yeah.
it's just an open backed dress. Like
Hmm.
it's very elegant if it's
Yeah.
the one I'm thinking of, you know. Um
Right. I
right.
wonder if I can
Yeah,
Google it.
clearly she was supposed to just tear the dress off right there.
Right,
Uh
because that would have solved everything. Exactly.
right, yeah. Um and I'm
Let me
sorry,
see
but
if I can
like
Google
there's
it.
no reason for anybody to call another person a slut or whore in a
Yeah.
derogatory manner,
Right.
ever, in my opinion. Like, who are you to make any comment on anybody else's clothing or, you know,
So like this is the dress.
yeah, very elegant. Like,
And so the back, there's not a picture of,
yeah,
oh, here's a picture of the back of it. So the back is,
yeah,
yeah, like it's open back, but if
yeah,
there's like straps and stuff going across, it's again, it's not like it's really showing anything. I think that that's a very elegant dress. If it's like a fancy, she said it was a fancy dress and suit event
yeah,
for their wedding
yeah,
anniversary. I think that's completely reasonable.
yeah.
You're not
Like
seeing
you were
side
saying, a
boob. You're not
gala or
seeing,
a, you know,
yeah,
art opening or,
right,
anything fancy. I think that you could wear that dress at and get,
100%.
you know, now it's a dress that there's definitely a body type of person that can pull it off and people that can't. I could not pull that off. I am far too short and too wide. That's my personal opinion. I'm not like seeking compliments. I'm just saying I wouldn't wear that dress. But
Right.
if you've got if you can pull it off, pull it off. It's a gorgeous dress and gorgeous look.
Well, and
So you
even
might as
like
well.
wear whatever you want. It's nothing
Right.
like it.
If
If we're going to
if
compare
she
what
felt
she wore to the
comfortable in it.
description of the photographer's outfit, then
Right.
like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
see
think there's
no
any
issue with the
issues with
dress.
it. And in
No.
particular, to say that she looks like a slut or she's a slut for wearing it,
Hmm.
like, no, she's wearing something she felt good in,
Beautiful.
and you just
Yeah.
ruined it.
Right. This is a
Rude.
situation where I do think it's probably more about jealousy than anything else because that is a gorgeous dress. And if you can wear it well, you're going to be the center of attention. And some people can't
Absolutely. And
handle
maybe
that.
that's what they were upset about in the end was
Yeah.
they weren't the center of attention. Sleeves.
These sleeves are killing me.
Are you saying that because it's a
What's
strapless
this?
dress? I'm confused.
Maybe he's wearing sleeves.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm
he
wearing
needs
sleeves.
to
I'm
wear.
wearing a It's Killing Me Smalls shirt.
Ah,
Or You're Killing Me Smalls.
I love Sandra.
I do too. Me too.
Uh,
Okay, that was mine. It was pretty quick and easy. I just wanted to say that the dad's also an asshole in this. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and maybe they were just upset that she was the oh, oh, got it.
oh,
We were both
okay,
very
understandable.
confused. Um,
Yeah,
okay. So my next one is, am I the asshole for not wearing my engagement ring at work? Update, I didn't expect so many replies, so
I
thank you
almost
everyone.
picked
I
this
spoke
one.
to HR today and they are going to be dealing with it. I had one or two messages about times I don't wear my ring and it is literally at work and at the gym. I also never want to see the words degloving accident again, which I thought was funny. Uh, so it just goes, this is so stupid, but I'm getting annoyed. I, 29 female, have been engaged to my fiance, 29 male, for 3 years. I have a very physical job, so I rarely wear my engagement ring at work. Instead, I wear it around my neck and it is always on show. My fiance knows this and it doesn't bother him in the slightest. He knows I'd be distraught if I damaged my ring in any way while I'm working.
Mhm.
Oh, he's
Oh
talking
my
about the
gosh.
sleeves. I was so confused.
Yeah.
Why are we yelling?
I know, so much
Recently
yelling, loud noises.
we had a new guy start at our workplace. We get on well and we have lots of similar interests. Last week we were talking about traveling and the places we would love to go. My colleague mentioned that he'd love to visit Tuscany for the seasonry and
Mm,
good food, I'm assuming. It just says and good for you.
must be and
Uh
food,
yeah,
which I
as
would
a passing
also
comment.
like the food, just to
Absolutely.
interject that. Yeah, mhm,
Absolutely.
right?
So as a passing comment, I said that I'd been with my fiance and we both loved it. The colleague seemed taken aback and said, "Oh, I didn't realize you were getting married. You don't wear a ring." I explained that I don't wear it to work so it doesn't get damaged, and he made a face but said nothing. A day later, a coworker came to me and said that the new colleague was saying that he was annoyed with me as if and felt as if I had led him on. Apparently, he had been flirting with me the entire time. I'm hopeless at flirting and I never pick up cues if someone's flirting with me, so I was taken aback. I pulled him to one side and apologized if he felt like I had led him on, but I hadn't been flirting. He blew up and basically said, "If I was your fiance, I'd think you were a real asshole for not wearing your ring. It's clear you really don't love him." Ever since then, he's been giving me dirty looks and making side comments. Now I'm worried that others will think I'm the asshole for not wearing my ring.
So it's interesting because it's similar to what we discussed last week. I
Right.
think in the difference here, though, they have had a conversation about her not wearing it at work,
Exactly.
and he has stated
Exactly.
that he's
And
fine with
she
it. So
wears it
I'm going
around her
to
neck.
right, and I think that that is great as well because that's
Yeah.
like obviously I want it's showing that she wants to, but I mean, if
Right.
you work a physical job or a job where you have to like wash your hands a lot or anything like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
like a lot of nurses wear their wedding rings and whatnot around their neck because you're constantly having to wash it, which means that you have a higher chance of like the stone falling out or something like that, damaging the ring, or just cleaning it to where the polish is gone.
Right.
It makes total sense. Yeah, what this guy specifically doesn't think or thinks
Right.
doesn't matter. Um,
Well, and
I
like
can
Chris
see,
said, his pride is hurt. He was flirting
yeah,
with her. And I mean, obviously, if they've been engaged for 3 years, they've probably been together at least a year or two before that. You're looking at
right,
5+ years on assumption that she's been out of the dating game. And if she wasn't good at flirting ahead of time, I can
right.
understand her not picking up on it. Um, and again, this goes for men and women, but just because someone enjoys having conversations with you and you have similar interests does not mean they're flirting or that they
Right.
want to have sex with you.
Yep. Those kinds of assumptions
Sometimes I
have
need to
no
say it
business in
louder
the
for the people in the
workplace.
back.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But again, like if he was really noticing her, he would notice it was on her neck. Like it's not, you can't
Mhm.
tell me it was under her shirt every time. You know what I mean? Um right. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm always been a person where I've been told my whole life, like, "Oh, you flirt." Obviously. Obviously,
Yeah.
especially you wanna have sex with cling, I get it. But no, like, my whole life I've been told, like, "Oh, you're such a flirt," or, been called a slut because I flirt with guys. No, I'm just friendly. Like,
Uh-huh.
yes, maybe I am flirting, but that's not my intention going into things.
Right.
But because, like, you know I'll sit and do a shot or I'll like high like my sister thought that at the bachelorette party because I high fived a dude. Oh, you're flirting with him. No, I'm actually
A high
very
five
happy in
is
my current
flirting?
relation. Apparently.
Who knew?
But I high
I
fived him.
flirted with a fuck
Like,
ton of people.
right? But yeah, it just again, like Chris said, it's fragile masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
His pride is hurt, but even then, take it like a fucking man. Like, say, oh,
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were engaged. I thought we were flirting. Ha ha, funny, funny. Whatever. Even
Right.
if you don't want to say it like that,
Yeah.
just go, oh, I didn't realize that. Like, she obviously has a good
Maybe.
reason for not wearing her ring to work. Her
Yeah.
fiance is aware of it and okay with it. There's She's not the asshole. That guy is definitely
No,
the asshole, however,
he is the asshole. I agree. 100%.
right?
I have to burp. It's like
Well,
stuck. Whew.
I
All
hate
right.
when they get stuck.
I do too. Ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Am I the asshole for not wanting to gift my stepsister something that my mom owned? My mom died when
I
I
have
was
a little
7,
sticky
and
took.
before she died, she gave my grandparents most of her prized possessions so that I could have them. I kept them for a while, but then my dad got remarried and his wife started looking through them a lot. A few times she even said that her daughters would love either one of the old stuffed animals or the jewelry I had from my mom. So I sent it all back to my grandparents. My stepsisters have expressed an interest in us being sisters and for us to all be one big real family. My dad thinks it's a great idea and has suggested that I pick something for each of them from the stuff that my mom left as a gift of accepting them as my sisters. I said I don't see them as my sisters and I don't want to give them something from my mom's stuff. He asked why, and I said because I do not want to share that stuff with them. He asked me if I love them, and at least I think I might see if I love them and maybe one day might see them as my sisters one day. I said I don't think so. He was upset, but said that he got it. Then his wife approached me with the same thing, and I told her no as well. She said her kids are only little, they were 4 and 6 when my dad married her, and that I should see them as my sisters and want to connect them to me in every way. And by denying them a gift, it's showing that I'm very cold and uncaring. Am I the asshole? I do want to clarify that I don't hate my stepsisters and I don't consider them nothing. They are my stepsisters. But there are plenty of family members I don't have very much of a connection with, and I would say that they and their mom are in that category for me. As an explanation as to why they might be the asshole, she said I was asked by my dad to give my stepsister something from my mom's um, stuff as a connection, as a way to show that we are real sisters now and all that. And I said no, and I said that no to his wife when she also asked. I know they'll likely see me as their sister more than I do, and that a gift like that would mean a lot to them. I can see where I am maybe selfish and maybe mean for not wanting to do that.
Why would they ever be entitled to something of her mom's when it's not their mom too?
Right. That was my question too. Like the mom died when OP was 7. She didn't say how old she is now.
Right.
And I didn't see it in any of the comment section. Um, so like that's her stuff. Why would giving them something of your mother's who passed be a way to connect them and make you a real family? They didn't know her. They never
Right.
met her. She died before he remarried. So
Yeah.
why would they even want something like that other than they just want free shit? Like I don't maybe I'm missing
Right.
something. That's why I was reading it because I was like maybe somebody else will see this from a different perspective than I'm seeing it, but I can't understand why they would want something that of a person that they had no memory of and who
Right.
I mean matters to them because yeah, it's the mother of their stepsister, but doesn't matter to them in the sense of like I have stuff that belonged to my great grandparents who I've obviously never met because they died well before I was born. But
Right.
like I, I don't know, that's just so weird to me.
Yeah. I don't think I understand that, but
That's okay. That makes a little bit more sense to me, Dave,
you could then
saying
go get
that
them
these
some,
girls see it as items of the sister and not items of the
right.
mother.
And because there's something meaningful of the sisters, then they are meaningful. I just
Hmm.
checked. Yeah, I sent you a text. Oh, well, I haven't checked. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with Dave. Like I would still say no to them. But
Yeah,
you could certainly get them something from her to the
right.
little sisters that has meaning, you know? Um, I think that that's probably right, hitting the nail on the head, Dave, with why it's meaningful,
Yeah,
because it's something they see as very
that's meaningful to
meaningful.
the sister. Okay,
Right,
so that was the connection I was missing because I was like, why would they want that? But that makes sense that they see it as something, as a meaningful thing of the sisters, and so therefore they want
right,
something meaningful to her, which I understand because when I went away to
right.
college, I stole something from every family member of mine to
Mhm.
bring with me to school because I wanted something of theirs. And I didn't particularly care for their consent on that, which makes me an asshole. If I put up my own Reddit post, I would be the asshole there. Um, but like they were all fine with it in the end. It was very funny. It was
Right.
very cute when it all came out.
Thief.
Anyway,
She is a thief. We're
I can
learning things about you
totally,
today.
I know, right? I can totally see that. However, I just feel like there's such a boundary when it comes to parents, especially parents that have since passed on, that that's an unreasonable ask. And it's
Right.
super unreasonable. Like I can see why the stepmom is like, "No, you should do it." I can't see why the dad would get upset about it though. Cuz he of all
Yeah.
people should understand seeing as that's his,
Unless
deceased
OP is
wife.
like really standoffish with the stepsisters,
Mhm.
and they don't have a good relationship, then I could see the dad maybe using this as a way to try to encourage
Yeah.
a relationship between them, but you can't force a relationship between kids.
No.
Um, so yeah, eh, I 100%. I can't imagine. I know the day someday is going to come where I lose my mom, and I can't imagine that kind of pain.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have stuff. Every family member that I've been close to that has died, like I have stuff of theirs now that was
Mhm.
given to me, but I
Yeah.
certainly didn't insist on it or throw a fit
Yeah.
about it. Right.
When my great aunt passed away, who was a lovely woman and I loved her very, very much, and she was super important like to our family as a whole. When she passed, we after the funeral went back to their house, and like all of us cousins, all of us girl cousins sat down and went through her jewelry collection together.
Hmm.
And like everyone got to pick something, and to me, like I picked an item that I love and I wear. I picked a couple of items that I love and I wear to this day. But it was super important to me that like her daughter and her granddaughter all get stuff first. Like I wasn't going to be the first
Right.
one to claim anything because that's not, she was my great aunt, but like she wasn't my mom. She wasn't my
Right.
grandmother. You know what I mean? I felt like that
Right. Yeah.
connection was more important.
Right.
And me, as someone who very much is obviously still part of the family, was on the outside. And so it was important to me to like let them pick first and then I could go later. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yep.
that's why I was
Yeah.
like so confused by all this because like that to me is just common sense. But I can see that to everyone it might not be, that it might,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting one, and I wondered if maybe someone had a different opinion, which obviously I think we all agree that it's an unreasonable ask, or
Yeah.
that it's reasonable
I mean,
for
I
OP to
get.
say no. I should say.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I get why the girls probably asked for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, like exactly. Well said, Queen. Like she
Hmm.
has no obligation to it. And I would recommend her then to, like I said, to do something that would be then special from her to them because they obviously,
Yeah.
want her. I'm guessing it's probably a situation where OP doesn't feel as connected to the stepsisters,
Yeah.
and stepmom and dad are just trying to encourage a good relationship between them. And this just isn't the hill to die on for it. This
No.
is, losing your mom is hard enough. You shouldn't have to be asked to get rid of mom's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
okay. My next one is, am I the asshole for calling my aunt and her daughter a brat? I, 28 male, got married last week. My wife and I decided on having no kids at the wedding. The day before our wedding, my best man's sister babysitter bailed. We know this kid well. He is an absolute saint. My cousin had offered to keep an eye on him for the day at the wedding so his parents could enjoy themselves. So, of course, we said he could come. It was a no brainer. We set up a couple little games and things for him to do and organized some dinner for him, and he had a blast. The problem with
Okay.
this is, though, that my auntie also had to organize a babysitter for my cousin, a 12-year-old female, and she also had some trouble with her babysitter dropping out a week before the wedding. And she asked if she was able to just come along. We both said no. My cousin is a very misbehaved kid, and when she does misbehave, her parents never take accountability. For example, we had a barbecue a couple months ago at our house. I had my car parked in the shed, which I made clear was off limits. The kids were playing hide and seek, and my cousin had hidden there. She climbed on top of the car, leaving
Mm.
footprints and scratches. She slipped on her way back down, and she was fine, just a bit hurt, and came out crying. We reminded her that the shed was off limits and expressed that we were upset. She could have damaged the car, and she threw a full-blown tantrum about it. Everyone eventually just left her to sulk. Well, about 10 minutes later, my friend's kid came running up telling us that my cousin had done something in the shed. She had taken a screwdriver and scratched up the car and then thrown it at the windshield. That's the.
Yeah. Yeah, that
She
kid's not
then
getting
tried to
invited
blame it
anywhere.
on the other kid and immediately started crying to her mom, who just said, "Well, we don't know who it was for sure, so we can't just blame her." I asked if she would just pay for the damages, and she said no. We almost uninvited her from the wedding, but then didn't want to deal with the drama with so much else going on. So when she approached my wife and I at the reception and complained about her kid not being invited, I was surprised. My wife said it was very last minute and moved on, but my aunt approached her again. She said how it's heartless to exclude a new family member, especially when we'd set up expecting children to come. I jumped in on the conversation saying it's too late now, anyways, and just to enjoy the night. But my aunt said, "Well, your cousin isn't enjoying her night right now, is she?" So I said, and this is where my mom and wife think I'm the asshole, "We would have loved your daughter to have your daughter here if she wasn't such a brat," and insinuated that my aunt was acting like one too. She shut up after that and, I think, went home. We hadn't heard from her at all, but then she made a Facebook post today about how I insulted her daughter. My wife is freaking out, thinking my family is going to hate her and is upset that I had to be so mean to her. But I think it was her fault for pushing so much. Am I the asshole?
Little from column A, little from column B. I mean, I don't think he's the asshole for not allowing the kid to come. If there
No.
was any doubt as to who fucked up my car, like to the
Yeah.
point where they're putting scratches in it with a screwdriver, which you know is going to cost money to get buffed out, if you even can, depending on how deep it
Yeah.
was, like
Yeah.
that might not be an or a cheap fix, I should say. And especially when they threw it at the windshield, like those fuckers are expensive too to get replaced. I 100% would be like, no, I'm not letting any kid. And then, yeah, when there's a last minute thing and it's your literal best man who is like an integral part of the
Right.
ceremony, that's
Right.
different than like an aunt who's going to sit in the fucking
And
pews and just be an
the
observer.
other kid, like, had arranged for his cousin to watch this other kid, so
Right.
yes, there was a child there, but it wasn't an issue per se. Whereas obviously this
Yeah.
12-year who is a 12-year-old should not be
And
acting like
honestly,
that.
who's going to tell the kid? Like, who's going to
Yeah.
alert the 12-year-old that there was this small child at the wedding for her to get offended by? I mean, maybe she's going to look at pictures, but like, okay.
Yes. Precisely, Kling.
Yeah. Having to
Yeah.
invite an innocent kid from your wedding because you can't expect a
I
grown-ass
might have
adult to
sent
behave
a
himself.
taxi to Mexico and leave them in the fucking party.
Oh my
That's a
god.
bit much, but yes.
So the reason why I said a little column A and a little column B is because I don't think he's an asshole for not allowing the 12-year-old brat to come. I
Yeah.
do think maybe the timing wasn't right to be like, your
Well,
daughter's a brat and you are one too. Like, maybe
right.
let's not do that here and now, but it was clear that she wasn't giving up. So it's
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
like,
I think
man,
he
could you
he
have
tried
handled
to
it
be
better? Yeah.
civil about it at the beginning by just saying, "Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's have a good time. We can fight about it later."
Yeah.
And she was like, "No, bitch, I want to talk about it now." And then he, you know, then he said it. So
Yeah.
well, it's rude, 100% a rude thing to say to somebody. I think that the aunt had it coming because she wouldn't
Hmm.
leave it be. Number one,
Right.
if you go up to the bride on her wedding day and you say something
And you
rude,
start
number
some
one,
shit. Yeah.
she walks away and then you follow her to start more shit with her, you already deserve to be kicked out. Like,
Yeah.
and I wish I could find an art that reminds me of one I heard in one of the narrators I was listening to about the groomsmen all kicked like OP's mom-in-law out. Hey, Wookie.
What up, Wookie?
Um, but yeah, it 100% clean. Weddings and funerals bring out the worst of people. And I'm so thankful
Yeah.
my sister's wedding was really good outside of the one girl like taking off, well, trying
Yeah.
to take off. Um, everything else went swimmingly, as far as I'm concerned. But even my sister, I was like, "You had a great wedding." It's just like, "Yeah, we really did," you know. Um,
Yeah.
somebody commented, "Yo, what should have been in the vows was, and we shall not allow bullshit from the extended family."
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's one of those things where the aunt pushed it, so yeah, she definitely gets she gets her comeuppance for sure.
somebody else said, "Well, your cousin isn't enjoying her night right now, is she?" And then the comeback should have been, "Well, we don't know that for sure, so you can't blame me."
Hey, I mean, maybe
Throw in
she
the
got a
word
hold of another
back,
car and took it for a joyride. She could be having the time of her
right?
life. You don't know.
Yeah, this kid is going to, um we didn't invite anyone yet. Um, and then somebody said, not the asshole, didn't say anything that wasn't true. Had devils spawn been allowed at the wedding, there would have been trouble. This might be the petty jerk in me talking, but I comment on the Facebook post asking for the car repair money.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way a 12-year-old should be behaving like that ever.
No.
Um,
They know better.
I
And if they
could
don't
see
know better,
like
then that's on the
I could see
parents.
sneaking in there to try to hide if you're playing hide and seek again as a 12-year-old, even though you're told not to go back in there
Oh, yeah.
after you were told. But to take a screwdriver to the fucking car, she's lucky. Um,
I can totally see hiding in the shed while you're playing hide and go seek. Like,
yeah,
because if it's been said it's off limits, then it's a great place to hide. I totally get that. But the second that you tried crawling on top of the car, you're a dumbass.
right.
You're a dumbass.
Yeah,
No sympathy.
100%. Um, yeah, everybody's basically saying that the asshole here.
Yeah. Good.
If the shoe
I hope he
fits, they
shows up.
gotta wear them.
Absolutely.
100%. Like, and then, yeah, it is awful parenting.
Yeah.
Uh, I bet your aunt is all, I just don't understand why my daughter doesn't have any friend because she is ruining that child. Yeah, she is.
It's a thing.
Kids have to have consequences, you know, and
Yeah.
obviously this other child came up to say, hey, the brat is back in there destroying the car. And then for them to say,
Right.
well, we don't know it was her. No, clearly, like, this other kid wouldn't have said it was her if,
I mean, I've been in those situations. I have family members who absolutely have blamed some really fucked up shit on their siblings. Um, Seen that happen firsthand. Like, it's for sure a thing. It's just in this situation, very unlikely that that was the outcome. You know?
yeah, yeah.
So, all
All right.
right, I have one
What's your
last one.
okay.
All right, my last one is: am I the asshole for being upset that my fiance proposed with his dead wife's ring? That's the title.
I heard this one from one of the narrators I listened to.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Sounds
thanks for
good,
stopping in,
Wookie. Thanks for
Wookie. Good to
stopping
see
in.
you. All right, so my fiance, 26, and I, 21, have been dating for 2 years. He honestly has been the best boyfriend and support person in my life. In the past, I honestly lost all my faith in men due to many bad experiences, and he was the one to restore it. My fiance had been married before, but his wife unfortunately passed away due to someone driving under the influence. My fiance and my fiance's family both described her as an amazing woman who is basically a saint. Sometimes I feel like I'm compared to her and even get comments from my fiance's family members that I look and sound like her, and it sometimes makes me uncomfortable because I'm not her replacement. I always knew that my fiance kept some of her belongings, including her engagement and wedding ring, and I had always been okay with it, but I had just never expected for him to actually propose to me with her ring. When he proposed, he organized a family picnic to announce my pregnancy, and honestly, I've never seen a picnic so fancy before. Everything was perfect. Both of our families were there, but when he proposed, I seen that. Oh, but when he proposed, I saw that sorry, there's some like typos. I saw that the ring he chose was his deceased wife's ring, and I was a little taken aback. So I hesitated before I said yes, and his sisters and his mom noticed it. Later on, his sisters and his mom questioned me about it as if they were some kind of interrogators, and I was honest. I told them that I felt uncomfortable being proposed to with his deceased wife's ring, and I felt that it belonged to her and not to me. They told me that my fiance wanted to pick a meaningful ring and nothing spoke to him but his deceased wife's ring. I answered back saying that I would have been happy with any ring, even if it was a freaking ring pop, but something just doesn't sit right with me about being proposed to with his dead wife's ring. They ended up telling my fiance, and now he's been a little distant ever since. I love him and I don't want to ruin our relationship. I understand he's still hurt about his wife dying, but sometimes I feel like he's trying to replace her with me, and I can't be her because I am me. Am I the asshole for
Right.
being upset? And then it said, as a reason why I might be an asshole, I may be the asshole because I was upset about the ring he proposed with, and maybe I'm just being ungrateful.
Yeah. And that's the biggest piece of it playing is like she's already being compared all the time to the deceased wife.
I missed so much in the chat. Wow. Okay.
Um,
Rings are expensive.
yes,
Yes.
they are, but again, like I said before, giving her the ring as to have just as a ring, I could see. But I totally can understand her being upset that it's not an engagement ring for her. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not
Hmm.
hers. It will never feel like it's her special ring. Um,
Yep.
so
I for sure see,
definitely
like,
playing,
Kling, I can
yeah,
understand why you think it's hilarious because in a
it
way I
is,
do too. Like, it's so
right?
off the wall that you're
Yeah,
like, no way that this is reality. Like,
right.
that's
And it would
ridiculous.
make
But
me
oh my
uncomfortable
God, I'd be so uncomfortable. I'd be so
100%.
uncomfortable. And if that's his way of saying that I moved on, that's just a really poor way of saying that I've moved on.
Yeah, there's
Like
better
there are
ways
other
to
better
say it.
ways.
Um,
Your dead wife's ring is not the same thing as your dead grandmother's ring. Like I'm totally
no,
cool
and
with you giving me like an ancestral ring. That's
right,
fine. I'll wear the shit out of it because it's not somebody that you loved in the same way that you love me. You know what I mean? You love
right.
grandmothers and that. I never said he was smart. Yeah, I just cannot believe, and then I can't believe that like first of all that anyone would like grill them about the answer, like about the hesitation. But I mean, maybe they're just being protective. But if he's like actually upset about her being like a little bit offended about the ring, he's hella dumb.
Yeah,
He's hella dumb because that's that would upset like 99.9% of women
right.
because we all
Now,
want something
if
that's
that
uniquely
ring had
ours.
been an ancestral ring, that would be the one potential, like if it was his great grandmother's ring and he happened to have proposed to his deceased wife with it, I could then see the potential there. Um, Even
Yeah.
then I would say, propose with it, but then maybe say if you're not comfortable with it, I understand, we'll go get you a ring of your own kind of thing. But it's a tough one. It really is.
Mhm.
I Dave brought up a point of like him trying to use that as his way of saying, this is yours now, my heart is yours now, blah blah blah. But I 100% can see her feeling like she's just in one more way a replacement.
Yeah. Double down, give her the wedding dress too. All right, now you're just shit posting, Dave.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I just thought that
Yes.
that was so weird. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
yeah.
But that, I mean, oh my God, I have a story. I don't think I can tell it here. I'll have to tell you guys later. I'll tell people in the
Okay.
Discord. So join our Discord, by the way. That's where many of our stories that we can't tell on stream get told. But I have a funny story about proposal gone wrong and the
Okay.
dude being an absolute fucking idiot.
Got it.
So
Love it.
yeah.
All right. So my last one is, am I the asshole for telling my dad the real reason why I don't like coming over? Hello, I,
Mm.
14 male, and my dad, 32 male, recently had a discussion. He asked why I don't come over to his house more often. And I answered truthfully, I feel neglected and ignored, and maybe that's an overreaction, but that's how I feel. He asked me to give him some examples because he thinks I'm over exaggerating. I told him how he and my stepmom, also 32, favor and pay more attention to my three little sisters. For example, last time I was over, my stepmom left the house and went to the mall with my three sisters and didn't wake me up. The day prior, I expressed I'd wanted to go and shop since it's summer, and I said I wanted more shirts, shorts, etc. I told my dad the day of when he got home, and he blamed my sleep schedule and how off it is. My stepmom, three sisters normal schedule it is to his stepmom's and his sister's normal schedule. I will admit I do sleep at abnormal times, but I'm a teenager and I live in the year 2022. Is it that abnormal? Fair point.
Fair,
Anyways,
fair.
I told him another time how she ordered groceries and didn't ask if I wanted or needed anything. When I told my dad, he said, I'll take you later this week. I expressed how upset I was since this happens regularly. I told more short stories, too many to type out, how unfair I get treated, and he blew up on me and told me how did he manage to raise such a brat, and went on about how his wife, my stepmom, is a perfect woman and how good she is with her and his children. So obviously I'm exaggerating. My dad is usually not home from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., so isn't here to actually see these examples go down. So I understand why he feels the way he does. And she also has a whole different side to the story. I felt so embarrassed and uncomfortable after he yelled at me on just being at his home and promptly left the next day to go to my mom's. I guess my dad told my grandma, and she told my aunts and uncles, and they all messaged and called me to express their disappointment in me for explaining how I felt so I could keep the peace at the house. I felt so bad for just speaking up and expressing myself because of how awkward it is now. I told my mom, and she promptly put everyone in their place and cussed out my dad and told him how hypnotized and stupid he is. I don't know what to feel. I'm still upset about being called all of these names, and he made me out to be someone I'm not. But I'm definitely staying with my mom until this situation dies down. Side note, I'm fairly new to Reddit, so if you feel this belongs to a different place, then am I the asshole? Let me know. Thanks, XOXO. This poor kid.
Yeah.
Like, I think he went about this the right way. He is using like I feel statements and
Mm.
examples of how those things made him feel. Not,
Yeah.
she's a bitch because she left without me kind of things. Like I felt disappointed because she didn't wake me up or even try kinds of things. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like he's got a decent head on his shoulders for being 14.
Yeah.
Um, and dad's not home, so how would dad know how stepmom treats him?
Right.
Um, my heart just goes out for this poor
Me
child. You
too.
know what I mean? Like, yes, did it go like far? Could he be exaggerating? Like the not asking if he wanted any groceries. Maybe she just wanted to make a quick order. I can understand her maybe not doing that. But when he said, like, I wanted to go and do shopping with them, and they
Yeah,
didn't even try to wake me up, that sucks, man. Like, I've
that
been
does
in that
suck.
situation, and it sucks.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
major sucks.
yeah. So, and dad asked him, he was honest. You can't fault somebody for being honest with you about
No,
how they feel.
right. No, I
But
don't think he's the asshole. I think he's in a
no,
shit situation, and I think the
right.
adults have handled it poorly.
Yeah, I agree.
So
All right. Well, I just got some interesting news that leads us into the next segment, unless you have
I
another
just saw
one.
some interesting news too for the next segment.
Does it involve the Minnesota Wild?
No, it involves
Oh,
the Pittsburgh Penguins.
okay. I haven't seen that news one. But the
Okay.
Wild apparently just traded Cam Talbot to Ottawa for, let me look at
Whoa.
his name again. Like this just went through for Philip Gustafson.
Okay. Interesting. I
Because Talbot was
wonder.
not happy here.
Okay.
Fleury's making more money than him. He's not happy about it. Whatever. Bye, Cam. Loved him, but hate him at the same time. Peace out. Like,
How is Flurry sticking
silly.
around though? Is that a done deal?
Fleury is here. He signed a 2-year deal. So we have him
Okay.
for 2 years, which I'm super excited about. Some of the fans are upset about
Interesting.
it. Like, go fuck yourself if you don't like Fleury. How can you hate on a guy who every time the puck hits the pipes, he like loves on the pipes
Rubs
for
it
saving
down.
the puck?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah, gives him little kisses, says thank you. And
Listen, I'm
he's
not a
just
fan of Marc-Andre Fleury when my team plays against him. That's how.
I
But aside
wasn't
from that,
before
if he were
he
to
played
play
for
on
us.
the Caps, I'd be like, hell yeah, bring it
Yeah.
in, Flower.
Like, and
Let's go.
he's a funny dude, a very loving dude. Like,
Yeah.
and he said flat out, you know, in the press conference after he signed his contract renewal, that he wanted to stay in Minnesota because he enjoys the guys on the team, the atmosphere, the fans, you know, which is awesome. Like I think coming from a future Hall of Famer, that's a big compliment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, yeah, it's one of those where, bah,
What a
if
Viking.
you're gonna be that pissy for
Yeah.
like $500,000 is okay. So that's Chris just shared your news, I think.
No,
Oh, it's
that's
different
not my
news.
news.
Okay.
Hmm.
But Raquel, okay, extended with
Raquel extended
Pittsburgh.
with Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I would have assumed that that was going to happen.
So something that Chris and I were talking about, which is my news the other day, was that
Yes.
Yevgeny Malkin is apparently super unhappy with the Pittsburgh organization, and
Ooh,
he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, and so he's looking to go elsewhere. And it's being
okay.
rumored that there is like the reverse of the Marc-Andre Fleury situation, where he is willing to consider signing a 1-year, highly lucrative deal with the Caps,
Yeah.
um, which would be super interesting. So Elliot Friedman is the one that's purporting this,
Yeah.
because they can, with like salary caps, they can play like with massive bonuses. So depending on how things work out, Yevgeny Malkin, who's friends with like Alex Ovechkin and a bunch of the other Russians on the Caps team, and I agree the Caps do need to get younger, not older. But I like the pettiness of getting Malkin on the
Oh,
team.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that to me, I'm here for the spite of it all. And so now that's what I'm hoping for. That's the next trade that I
100%.
want to see happen, is that we acquire Yevgeny Malkin for at least one season. The other thing that I want to see the Caps do, is our former goaltender Braden Holtby, who brought us to the Cup in 2018. It's being reported that he may be retiring because of some injuries that he had, and that the Dallas Stars are
Sure.
not looking to keep him on. And I love Holtby. He is such a good guy. I think they still have a house here in the DC area, because we see him all the time. He's always here for DC Pride, because he's very supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. He's
Yeah,
at like nationals baseball games all the time. He's just a great guy. So I want to see the Caps offer him like a 1-day deal so that he can retire having his last game be as a as a Cap player, because that's the team that like he loves the most. You know what I mean? So that's like really what I want to see. I don't care if it means we lose whatever game we're in because he can't
right,
play. Like I just want him to retire as a Cap. So like
right.
those are my
No, and
two of my big items. Yeah.
that's totally fair. Um, but yeah, so hopefully we'll keep fingers crossed.
Right. I want both
So
of those
yeah,
things to
we
happen. I want Holtz to come back, and I want
yeah,
to just piss off Pittsburgh fans by bringing Malkin over.
100% I'd be behind that. I
Yep.
mean, Malcolm's one of those guys. Like he's a good player, and if he's unhappy,
Yeah.
then why stay somewhere you're not happy? Like
Exactly.
there's no point in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, but now or tomorrow, what? Announce what?
We can.
Are we
I'll send you a
announcing that news
message.
yet?
I didn't think we were.
I didn't think we were either, but we can. I mean,
We can.
yeah. So, as a YouTube
Well,
exclusive, we
there
are,
we go.
Chris D and I are going to have a little hockey podcast thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it'll be a similar setup to this, but just, like I said,
YouTube
YouTube
exclusive.
exclusive. So I don't think the YouTube is on our socials link yet, but I believe it's down below. If not, it's LTN_media.
Mhm.
And check us out over there because that's where all of our VODs go. There will be other exclusive content. D and I are in talks for another project as well.
Yes. Yes, we
That we are
are.
not announcing yet, but I'm super excited about it. And yeah, so we will have our little hockey podcast. Sweet. You're
Oh, nice.
amazing, Chris. I love it.
Thanks, Chris. So yeah, we're gonna
Uh,
do more hockey stuff because we
yeah,
all are obsessed.
we are,
I'm
we
so
are,
excited.
and it's so fun. Like since having Matt, like I didn't follow it nearly as closely as I did prior to having a kid, and now that my kid actually loves hockey, and he can remember statistics on stuff that I can't ever remember. Um,
Not nearly as
as
excited as
you,
you, Kling. That's awesome. I love that.
uh, but yeah, so it will be a good time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
closer
not
to
going
the
to start anytime
preseason.
soon.
Yeah,
I
which
think
I
we
think is
definitely have
what,
to get
late
through all the
August, early
trades.
September. Yeah, because there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of changes going on. Um, but yeah, we'll definitely update everybody with notice once we set a date for when it
Hmm.
debuts and whatnot. So,
Just another reason to follow our Discord because we also post about that kind of stuff
absolutely.
there too.
Yes, Clayne. Are you going to
Yes, what's
ask
your
me what
question?
hockey is?
I hope so.
Right?
That would be
Did I
great.
ruin your question? Yep.
There
Okay.
you go.
Uh, the
It's lacrosse
single
on ice,
greatest
Kling.
sport. It's lacrosse on ice. It
It's
is.
lacrosse
It
on
is.
ice.
Um,
Yep.
where you can see fights and have
Oh, the
people
fights
lose
are my
teeth and they get
favorite.
back up and keep playing,
Yeah.
reading for one of our shows. I don't remember what the topic was. I was looking at the oldest players in the NHL, and um, there was a player, I forget what his name is, but he legitimately had a heart attack like in the first period, went to the hospital,
Hmm.
came back and finished the game.
Insane.
Like, fucking badass, right?
Yeah.
None of this like, oh, I'm hurt, I'm out for the entire time. And
Yeah.
Minnesotans, don't forget about the angry Minnesotans chasing that rubber disc. Um,
And at least one Virginian.
right?
Just the one though.
Yes. Just the one. Just the one.
Just the one.
Um, but yeah, so super excited about that. Also,
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch base. We're not going to go real in depth on this because we're not going to make it a political thing. But one of our players, Krill, right now is kind of MIA.
Yeah.
He is Russian. He grew up in Russia, played for the, Russian Red Team or whatever it's called.
Yeah. One of
And is
those.
now apparently wanted. And there's another NHL player that was arrested
Mm-hmm.
in Russia for supposedly forging their military documents, which of course the players say that they didn't. Russia is saying that they, want them there. So Krill is wanted in Russia. The US has said that he's been denied entry here twice. Chances are it's not going to become a political thing. Like, just chances
No.
are he's in Dubai probably because that's where he had to fly out of. Honestly, just hoping that, they figure it out and
Yeah.
he's okay. Obviously we want him back so he can play for our team, but even more so, like, we want him to be okay and for them to figure
Mm-hmm.
this all out.
Well, and
And
it's
to kind of
especially
know what's
upsetting too,
actually going
because
on.
yeah, Kirill Kaprizov is one of like he's a rising star in the NHL.
Very much
He's
so.
a young player who's
Yeah.
got a pretty bright future.
Yeah.
And normally, you hear that as an excuse, but in this situation, we do have to remember where the source of these allegations are coming from and the fact of what happened this past season in terms of
Right.
which players were and weren't speaking out. All right, thank you, Bikeling. So we hope the
Thanks
best
for
for
hanging out.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Just hoping that
and we hope to
they
see him
figure it
back
all
soon.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that there were some players that, chose not to go home to Russia to see their, friends and family and stuff.
It's a tough
Yeah, it's
situation all
just fun.
around.
It is very much so, but hoping that it all works itself out in an okay way and that, he is able,
Yeah.
like, of course we want him back on the team. He's arguably, well, not even arguably, he is our best player. But like you said, he's a young kid and definitely is
Yeah.
um a lot of stress to be going over
Hmm.
or under. Um,
Right.
but instead, like, we're not going to go through what all of the draft picks were. I kind of pulled a list of our two teams,
The
who
important
they
ones.
picked. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. I
Yeah.
did not include Anaheim in this. I apologize, Chris, but you can
No.
suck a dick. I'm just kidding.
We can talk about it on our actual
On the
show that you
podcast.
get to be a
On
part
the
of. Yeah.
podcast. I did want to congratulate Sam Renzel. He is the one on my list that is not playing for Washington or Minnesota. He got drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's from Minnesota. He's from Chaska, which is close to where I used to live.
I just
So that's
wish he had
awesome. I
gotten
love to
drafted by
see.
a better organization because the Blackhawks
Absolutely.
are in too much of a rebuild for me to be.
Right.
I wish he had gotten on with a team that was more established.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Um, but it could be where it's a good thing where he can come up with the Blackhawks with this new wave that they're building.
I don't think they're
It
not.
it depends.
So this is
I'm
my
not
opinion.
familiar with him as a player. Yeah.
Well, it's just my opinion that the Blackhawks aren't rebuilding as much as they are putting out media that they're rebuilding. Like, there's a lot of
Sure.
institutional issues with the Blackhawks that have yet to be
Sure.
resolved, and is also something that we can't talk about on this show.
Right.
But I wish the Blackhawks organization the best. I just don't see it being a
I
successful
don't.
franchise
By
in
the
the
way, I'll
next
be
five
fully
years.
honest. I don't wish the Blackhawks the best. I hate the Blackhawks, but they're also one of our biggest rivals. So
Yeah, see, we hardly ever play them. I don't give a shit
yeah,
about them because they're
yeah,
not a problem for us. So
yeah.
that's
No,
why
we
I
play
wish them all the
and the
best because it
Blackhawks.
doesn't impact me.
They were one team when we were buying tickets for this year. They're a team where the Wild do put out their best work. They're
Mhm.
like, it's like playing Colorado. Like, we put out the best we can when playing them.
Right.
We have a decent record against them, as well as Colorado, actually, but obviously Colorado's the better team this year.
Hmm.
Um, but in general, I just hate the Blackhawks. So
Well, so Chris made an excellent point. For whatever
yeah,
reason, they traded one of their best fucking players, arguably their best player, into Brinket, and got an older goalie who does not have the skill for what they traded away.
right.
But with that, they also got some trades down the line. But it's like, again, that's extending your rebuild further than is going to be profitable for you in the short term. And you need some short term profit. Yeah, DeBrincat is 24, which is fine. It's the
Yeah,
30-year-old goalie that's the problem. Yeah,
right.
why you would trade away
Well,
your
hey,
best young player, I don't understand.
yeah. It
But
sometimes it's not always about the youth. This flurries.
you do need some veteran players for sure.
Yeah,
But in their rebuild, they're in need. They needed to keep DeBrincat is what they fucking needed. But again,
right.
who am I?
Yeah.
Anyway, in other news, who is next on the trades?
Okay, so in round 1, the Wild took Liam Ogren, who is a Swede, left winger.
Mhm.
And you guys took Ivan Miroshin
Marish Marishnichenko.
Marishnikov. Yes, what you said.
Marishnichenko. Mhm.
Who's from Russia.
Yes.
We also
Because we don't have enough of those.
right, yeah, there's a lot of Russians that play hockey.
There's a lot of Russians on
Danila
on the Caps.
Yurov is a right winger that we took. Oh, and Ivan
Mhm.
is also a right winger,
Yeah.
who is also from Russia. Again, hoping there's potential that some of these Russian players may not be eligible. Depends on how things shake out. But yeah, shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker,
Fucking right.
a lot of the teams drafted Russians, let's be honest. But that was round 1. We had 2 picks that round because we got a first round pick from Los Angeles.
Mhm.
When we got, or is that what we got for
You traded for
Fiala?
Fiala.
Is that where we got that
Was it
second pick?
Fiala or was it?
Was it when we got? Wasn't Delorier? Delorier came from Anaheim,
No.
not LA. I don't remember. Anyway, round 2, the Wild got Hunter Hyatt, who is a Canadian. Yeah, the first time in
Canadian?
NHL history that the Slovakian players went 1 and 2, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We
Way to go, Slava.
also that was a trade away pick that we got. We also took Ryger Lorenz or Loris, who is Canadian as
Mhm.
well. And you guys took Ryan Chesley, who is a defensiveman.
Yeah, which we need.
He's from the US. I don't know what state he's from. That wasn't on my list, but
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Third
Not
round,
as
we have
important.
Mikey Millamine. It's Milne. I'm horrible at pronouncing names, you guys.
Milne, I think.
Milne, yeah, something. He is a Canadian. He previously played for the Winnipeg Ice in the WHL. You guys took a left winger who is a Swede, Ludwig Person.
Yeah, I think I missed that one.
Who played? Yeah, he's from Sweden as well.
Mhm.
So, fourth round, it is Persson.
Presson. Yeah.
We got Ryan Healy, who is an American defenseman. That's what I thought. He played for Sioux Falls, so I don't know if he's from South Dakota originally or not, but that's where he had played from. Your guys' fourth round pick went to the Boston Bruins as a result of the trade on July 8th. That's blah, blah, blah. Anyway, lots of movement there. Awesome.
Very cool.
So the Capitals did not get a fourth round pick, basically.
Yeah.
Because Marcus Janssen or Johannesson, I don't know which one it is. We had a Janssen that was spelled the same way.
Well, to be fair, he's changed it 5 or 6 times. He says it differently in lots of interviews. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
We're not
it's
talking about
Shane,
any other teams, Chris. I'm just kidding. Round 5, the Capitals took Jake Carabella, who is a Canadian. we took David Spacek, who is from the Czech Republic. And then 6th round, you guys took Ryan Hofer, who's Canadian. We
Lots of
have
Canadians.
Servak Petrovsky from Slovakia. And in the 7th round, you guys took David Gutierrez from Michigan. He's originally from Canada. He played for Michigan State University prior to that. We did not get a 7th round pick because of the trade where we received Devin Dubnyk 2 years ago. We gave up our 7th round pick for 2022, and Dubnyk is no longer on our team. Miss you, dude.
Yeah.
But and then like we talked about earlier, Fleury did re-sign for 2 years, which I'm super excited about. I am upset that Delorier, we can't afford him. I want him to stay. He was so much fun to watch, but he's an asset to whatever team he goes to, in my opinion.
Right. 100%.
But yeah, that was kind of the who we got. A lot of it, I mean, there are some people that can be really great in up until like their draft, and then they just don't perform well in the NHL.
100%.
That always happens. There's things where people, I don't know if it's like stage fright or what, but things don't go well. So it'll be interesting to see all of these guys that went in the draft, how they perform, and then seeing what happens with all these free agencies and where people go. I mean, there will be a lot of movement.
We still have some time with that.
Yeah. So any like recent trades or re-signs that you're super excited about with the Caps?
Well, so there's a rumor that apparently the Caps are courting Evander Kane, which we all know how I feel about him.
Somebody
He's
brought
garbage,
that up about
and if
Minnesota too. Fuck Evander Kane.
Yeah, we better fucking not. I'll be so pissed. That'll ruin our organization, bringing him in. It is not good optics. So if you want to know what he's did, just Google the guy. We're not going to get into all
the
this shit
only
there.
like good thing about Evander Kane is what happened with him and Hartman when Hartman flipped him off and then got fined, and the whole we talked about it before. The whole Evander Kane's ex-wife donated money. Hartman. Well, fans started just Venmoing Hartman money for it, which of course he can't take to pay that fine. But he said he ended up matching all donations, and they raised over $40,000, I believe it was, for the Children's Hospitals of Minnesota.
Nice.
But it was like the single greatest publicity shit that week. So that's the only good thing, in my opinion. Evander Kane came from Evander Kane in the last year. He is a good goal scorer, but he's just a terrible shitty person. Although I did see in an article around that same week, that all that stuff was happening. He's apparently with a new girlfriend and she's pregnant. So it'll be fun to see if that relationship lasts. And one of the big things is that he doesn't pay his child support. So, and he clearly makes enough money to pay his child support, but just chooses not to. So it'll be one of the many shitty things.
The only other news that the Caps really have about trades, because we haven't done a whole lot of trades. We've been focusing on the draft as of right now, but we didn't extend Ilya Samsonov a contract. He's one of our goalies. We did not extend him a contract, and we traded Vitek Vanacek to the New Jersey Devils of all people, which is so stupid because that's an interconference rival. So like why we would trade it to a team that we're going to face in the season, I don't fucking understand, but we did it. So as of right now, we have no goalie because we are heavily courting Darcy Kemper, because it's been made clear that he is going to be put on as an unrestricted free agent. So, I mean, hopefully we get him because I think he's a good goalie. There's also rumors maybe that Bobrovsky might come available. And if we could get Bob, I'd be very happy. I think he's a great goalie. I just don't know if that'll be possible. And then also in news that I thought was really cool, which I think sort of leads us into not our femme fatale for today, but corresponds with our femme fatale from weeks prior. For our developmental camp, which we have coming up, they have hired Laura Schuler, who is a two-time Olympic women's
Oh
silver
yeah,
medalist, to be one of our
yes,
guest coaches for the developmental camp for the CAPS players this summer. Um, so I thought that was really cool that they're again promoting women in sports as part of their organization,
yeah,
because Emily Engelnatsky, who it was promoted recently as the head video coach, um, again they're making good on their promise to support women in the
yeah,
sport as well.
which is
Again, a bunch
awesome.
more women have been signed into
Yeah,
coaching roles across the NHL. So I just think that that's really cool, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that since that's something that's
yes,
obviously important to us here on this show.
right, absolutely. Um, and that I think will just lead us into the femme fatale. This week
Sure.
we chose Queen Bee herself, Miss
Beyonce.
Beyonce. Um, she's somebody. I
Yeah.
mean, she's what, 5 years? No, 4 years older than I am, which makes me feel like I've done absolutely shit with my life.
Right.
But she was born in Houston, Texas in 1981. She auditioned at age 8 for an all-girls group called Girls Time. They then got sent to Star Search and they lost, but Beyonce later said that the song just wasn't good and that's why they lost. After that, her father, who managed them, oh, fair. Um, her father was managing them at the time, then cut the group down to 4 girls, who then became Destiny's Child. Many people remember Destiny's Child as only being 3 girls. It did originally start as 4. The real OGs
Hmm.
will remember that. But Destiny's Child, they started, 1995, 96 is when they were really started off.
Yeah.
They actually got dropped from Atlanta Records after they cut the line
I
to just
remember
the
that.
4 girls, but were signed
Mm.
to a group called Grassroots Entertainment. Um, and that's
Yep.
about the time that they were their name changed. Her first solo recording was a feature on Jay-Z's song "03" Bonnie and Clyde in 2002, which peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Top 100, which is phenomenal for being her first kind of solo venture out there.
Yeah.
And that's also where she met Jay-Z, who we will talk about later. Eventually, she married. And they are still
Mhm.
married, right? Ew, face. Um, her first solo album was "Dangerously in Love," which was released in 2003. Um,
Hmm.
just after that, Destiny's Child last album, "Destiny Fulfilled," was released in 2004. She does have a new album called Renaissance, which is set to release actually July 29th of this year. So that's coming up fast.
Oh,
It would be fun to hear a new album from her.
yeah. Long overdue.
She, right? Yeah, it's been a while since she released an album, so it'll be
Hmm.
really good to hear new music from her. She started dating Jay-Z again after the collab on '03 Bonnie and Clyde. They got married in
Right.
2008 and they had their first daughter, Blue Ivy, in 2012.
Right.
Um, in August of 2011, the two of them went to the VMA Music Awards, at which Beyonce performed "Love on Top" and ended the
Hmm.
performance by revealing that she was pregnant, which I remember watching. Um, her appearance helped that year's MTV Video Music Awards become the most watched broadcast in MTV history, pulling in
Right.
12.4 million viewers. The
That was a
announcement,
lot
and
back
I thought
then.
this was kind of funny. Well, not funny, but like crazy. The announcement was listed in the Guinness World Records for the most tweets per second for a single event on Twitter,
Wow.
receiving 8,868 tweets per second about
That's
her pregnancy
crazy.
announcement. Beyonce pregnant was the most Googled phrase the week of August 29th, 2011,
Yeah.
which I thought was super kind of interesting that she's in there. And that's not the
Hmm.
only thing she's in the Guinness World Records book for, which we'll get to.
Okay.
Following
I'm
the
excited.
release of Lemonade, which is her album, which included the single Sorry in 2016, speculations did arise about Jay-Z's alleged affair, who on the
Mm-hmm.
album is referred to as Becky, or Becky with the good hair.
Yep.
John Perales from the New York Times pointed out that many of the accusations were aimed specifically and recognizably at JC, which was very
Yeah.
clear listening to that album. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Rolling Stone noted lines, "Suck on my balls, I've had enough," were an unmistakable hint that the lyrics revolve around Jay-Z,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of a funny. It's
Hilarious.
like, yep, oh no, that's who she's talking about, all right.
Yep.
Although, despite that, they worked through it and they're still together.
Mm-hmm.
Which personally, I think he's a damn lucky man because
Right? Because she could have just walked
I'm
the fuck
glad,
away and been like,
right,
out of here.
right. But they definitely, I think, are stronger for like working through all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully he has learned his lesson. Because
Yeah.
she will make that everybody's business. Uh, Then in
Mm-hmm.
2017, she revealed on Instagram that she was expecting twins, which I do remember that photo
I
shoot she
remember that.
posted when she was
Yep.
very pregnant. Nobody had any idea that she was pregnant.
Yep.
That announcement gained 6.3 million likes within 8 hours. He was woefully unprepared for that jelly. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Breaking the world record for the most liked image on Instagram. At the time, on July 13th, 2017, she uploaded the first image of herself and the twins,
Remember
confirming their
that
month
too.
was a day prior on June 13th, so 2 days before my birthday.
No.
Which, yeah, so they're definitely like a very private couple. It was
They are.
pointed out too that they've become more relaxed in the more recent years, but especially back then and surrounding their children, they're a lot more
Mm-hmm.
private. And I thought this was interesting. Adele has cited Beyonce as her inspiration and favorite artist, saying in
Oh
Vogue,
yeah.
"She's been a huge and constant part of my life as an artist since I was about 10 or 11. I think she's really inspiring. She's beautiful. She's
She is.
ridiculously talented. She is one of the kindest people I've ever met. She makes me want to do things with my life,"
Mm-hmm.
which is a high
High praise.
compliment. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, both Paul McCartney and Garth Brooks said they watch Beyonce's performances to get inspiration for their own shows. Garth Brooks said, "When you watch one of her performances, you take out your notebook and take notes. No matter how long you've been on stage, you take notes on that one," which is also
Mm-hmm.
high praise. Garth Brooks
From
puts on
Garth
a
Brooks.
hell of a concert. Hell of a
Yeah.
concert. I'm so excited. I've only seen him once live. I want to see him as many times as humanly possible.
Yeah.
He a few years back added show after, like, his shows in Minnesota just kept selling out. So he
Mm-hmm.
performed like 14 nights with like one
Oh,
night off here.
I love
And
him.
when he gets on stage, he sings for like 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
If
Well, because
he's
he has
having
to. He has
fun,
to
he
sing
just
all of
keeps
the
going.
hits.
Well, and if he's having fun, he just keeps going. It could
Yeah.
be the end of their set list, but he'll just then go back to the bit, like the Standing Outside the Fire, some of the bigger hits.
Which is my favorite.
Um, oh, I love
One
that
of my
song. I
absolute
love all of
favorites.
his songs.
Yeah.
She has won numerous awards. She's the most awarded female artist of all time, and also the
Mm-hmm.
most nominated artist in Grammy history, with 29 nominations. And she has won 28 Grammy Awards, both as a solo artist and as a member of Destiny's Child, which
Yeah.
makes her the most honored singer, male or female, of the Grammys. Um,
I can see it.
she's also a huge philanthropist. 20 in 2002, Kelly Rowland and Tina Knowles, Kelly was in Destiny's Child with her, Tina
Mm-hmm.
as her mother, built the Knowles Rowland Center for Youth, which is a community center in downtown Houston. After Hurricane Katrina in 2005, Beyonce and
Yeah.
Rowland founded the Survivor Foundation to provide transitional housing to displaced families and provide means for new building construction, to which Beyonce herself contributed an initial $250,000. That foundation has since expanded to work on other charities in the city. Um,
Mm-hmm.
That foundation provided relief following Hurricane Ike 3 years later.
Yep.
She has also personally donated $100,000 to the Gulf Coast Ike Relief Fund. In 2007, Beyonce founded the Knowles Temenos Place Apartments, which is a housing complex offering living space for 43 displaced individuals. As of 2016, she had
It's
donated
amazing.
$7 million to the maintenance of that complex.
Yeah.
After starring in the movie Cadillac Records in 2009 and learning about the Phoenix House,
Forever
which
ago.
is a non-profit, right? It was a year after my kid was born. It feels like it was forever ago. Which Phoenix House is a nonprofit drug and alcohol rehabilitation organization.
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce donated her full $4 million salary from that film to that organization.
Incredible.
Right? Beyonce and her mom also established the Beyonce Cosmetology Center, which offers a 7-month cosmetology training course helping Phoenix House's clients gain career skills during their recovery, which is awesome.
That's great.
In 2010, she participated in the George Clooney and Wyclef Jean's Hope for Haiti Now, which was a benefit for the hurricane relief.
Mm-hmm.
Donated a large sum of money to that organization and was named an official face of the limited edition CFDA Fashion for Haiti t-shirt made by Theory, which that raised $1 million in and of itself.
Right.
In 2011, she joined forces with the First Lady, Michelle Obama, and the National Association of Broadcasters Education Foundation to help boost the latter's campaign against child obesity by reworking her single "Get Me Bodied." Following the death of Osama bin Laden, she also released a cover of the song "God Bless the USA" as a charity single to help raise funds for the New York Police and Fire Widows and Children's Benefit Fund, which is the fund that helps it started,
Families of
I believe
9/11.
it started with 9/11, but it
Yeah.
since helps, any widows and children of any police and firefighters that are killed in the line of duty.
Yeah.
She in 2012 became an ambassador for the World Humanitarian Day campaign, donating her song "I Was Here" and its video, which was shot in the UN, to the campaign. She in 2013, she's a busy woman, man.
There's a busy, busy
It was
bee.
announced
Yeah.
that she would work with Selma Hayek and Frida Gianni on a Gucci Time for Change campaign that aims to spread female empowerment. She was part of a concert there, again, donating funds from the sales of her song and video and all of that, as well as her own money to the charities. She and Jay-Z secretly donated tens of thousands of dollars to bail out people, the Black Lives Matter protesters in Baltimore and Ferguson, as well as
Mm-hmm.
funded an infrastructure for the establishment of Black Lives Matter chapters across the U.S. Before her Formation World Tour in Tampa, she held a private luncheon for more than 20 community leaders to discuss how she could support local charitable initiatives, including pledging on the spot to fund 10 scholarships to provide students with financial aid.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Sports Authority board member Thomas Scott said, "I don't know of a prior artist meeting with the community, seeing what their needs are, and seeing how they can invest in the community. Says a lot to me about Beyonce. She not only gives back, not only goes into a community and walks away with money, but she also gives back money to that community." In
Yeah.
June 2016, she donated $82,000 to help support the victims of the Flint, Michigan water crisis.
Mm-hmm.
She also donated money to support 14 students in Michigan with their college expenses. Just a lot of money to many different charities. Obviously it's
Yeah.
things that mean something to her,
Right.
or places she goes, she sees a need and she helps it out. as of 2020, she donated $6 million to the National Alliance in Mental Health. And she did years ago come out and speaking about her own depression, stating that
Mm-hmm.
it was something she always battled, but initially she didn't feel that she could talk about it
Right.
openly, but she has since opened up about it. But that community organization in order to provide mental health and personal wellness services to essential workers during the COVID pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it goes on and on and on about all of
Yeah,
the philanthropy things that she does and has done, which is pretty awesome, you know.
it is.
Um,
100%.
right. So I just thought that that was really cool. I think that she's an inspiration, just absolutely a gorgeous
Agreed.
human being. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to know that
Her
she's very
voice.
nice. Yes, her voice is incredible. Yeah, the whole Flint thing is awful though. But we're not going to get into all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Beyonce is incredible, and she's done
right,
so much to give back directly to her community, and then for her to branch out and help out other communities as well, I think is
right,
truly great. So she definitely deserves to be our femme fatale this week.
right.
She's incredible. She's definitely a visionary when it comes to her performances. What she has done visually on stage is
Yeah,
amazing, and it's a lot to live up
yeah,
to for other people.
yeah,
So kudos to her. You can tell she
yeah,
also pushes herself to
yeah,
make things bigger and better, but not just because she wants it to be bigger and better, but because she wants to put more of herself more and more into her work. And so I think it's just
right,
really like when you compare old like Destiny's Child music videos to what she put out during Lemonade, for example,
right.
massive difference.
Yeah,
And I think it's incredible.
yeah. I agree. I agree. So, um, yeah, she's just definitely somebody. And to know that I mean, she's been doing this for 20 years already, you know, since she was
Yeah.
8, you know, no, 30 years. Because she would be
Hmm.
roughly 38, 39 ish.
Yeah.
No, she's
I'm bad at
41.
math.
I can do math.
I can't. At
She'd be
least one
41
of us
now.
can.
So many years, regardless. She's
Yeah.
been in this business a long time for being
Hmm.
still relatively young.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just somebody to look up to. So anyway, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I would just say don't forget to check out all of our other shows. On
Hmm.
Wednesday, the boys have their time slot. They have their show called Less Than Normal. And that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, um, and 5 p.m. not Eastern,
Central?
Central. Um, my brain just died mid
That's
sentence.
totally, I saw
Um,
it just fell over. I
yeah,
was like,
just
no,
trying to shut off.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna. Yep.
100%. And then on Thursday nights, we have our community stream. I know we missed last week, but I believe we'll be back in action this
Should
Thursday,
be.
usually around like 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, for
Right.
some more shenanigans. We haven't done a
And
Friday stream in a
debauchery.
while, but and debauchery. Can't forget that. We haven't done a Friday stream in a while, but we have been hanging out in the Discord a lot.
Yes.
So feel free to join our socials, and come say hi to us in there and come be part of the little group that we're building. We would love to
Yes.
have you. And otherwise, we will be back next Tuesday, again at 5 Eastern, 4 Central, for some more just unhinged awesomeness.
Right.
Uh,
I
yeah,
like that.
and just general
Unhinged
fun.
awesomeness.
Yeah,
Always. And don't forget, shortly around the start of preseason, we'll have a new hockey show on YouTube. So
and YouTube exclusive. Yep.
keep an eye out for
So don't
that.
forget to follow us here if you
Yeah.
can and you want to throw us a subscription. That's great. If you have Prime, you do get one free one a month. So if you don't use it on us, use it on somebody.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
Just don't let it go
gone
to waste.
and it will make someone's day if you toss them a subscription. Um,
Absolutely.
and also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and comment and do all the stuffs. Yeah.
Absolutely. But thank you guys again for coming in and hanging out. It is always a blast to have each and every one of you with us.
Hmm.
You make this fun. Like it's a lot of work, but you guys make it fun. So,
Absolutely.
um, I never introduced who we were. By the way, hi, I'm Danger. This is Dee.
Yeah, that's us.
Anyway, this is the Double D Estrogen Power Hour. And now we're done. We still don't have an outro for it. So
We'll get it one of these days. We're
don't
professionals.
forget to schedule your doctor's appointment.
Mm.
Yeah, that too. Appointment.
Yeah,
And we'll see you next week, if not before.
absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.